Welcome in to Green and Gold Game Day. I think Jackson Posey and I are the first people at McLean Stadium. It is dead out here. Folks, get over here to McLean Stadium and Brazos Parking. We are live at the Camp Fimfo tailgate. Would love for you to come on by, hang out. Matt Mosley and Faith Lynch, of course, will be here for the second and third hours of our program. We are here leading you all the way up to kickoff on Green and Gold Game Day, brought to you by 365 Sports. My name's Scotty Swingler, and again, I'm joined today by Baylor Lariat's own Jackson Posey. What's going on? How you doing?
It's a beautiful day for Baylor football. Always has been, always will be.
It feels great out here, by the way.
It's fall.
Allegedly. Careful. I'm still feeling some 95 degrees coming up somewhere. But I did walk up to the tent today and say, oh my gosh, it feels awesome out here. So let's go, Baylor fans. Get down to McLean. Get here early. Get some food. T-Rex right across the way at his famous tailgate. I can see them down there. It is a good day. I want to thank Central National Bank for being one of our sponsors here of the Tailgate Hour of Green and Gold Game Day. And we are going to launch a fan vote. We actually put this up on Facebook yesterday, so some have already participated. But if not, if you're joining us via YouTube or X today, you can vote on our first hour poll. And I love this one because all of these plays I remember vividly, Jackson, and I want your take, okay? Which Baylor play against Kansas State is your favorite? And here are the options. One, I don't know if you remember this, folks, but Kendall Wright on a 4th and 5 from like the 40-yard line. Griffin in 2011 just lofted it to the end zone on 4th and 5. And Kendall Wright did a Superman leaping grab. Incredible touchdown catch in 2011. In 2012, I think people remember this one pretty well. Number 1, Kansas State. Heisman favorite, Colin Klein, came to Waco. Baylor won that game huge, but put it away on a Lake Seastrunk, back-breaking 75-yard touchdown run where he went up the middle. And Jackson, I don't know if you've seen this. There's like a drone shot or a wire shot that kind of tracked Lake from above. And it's like the Red Sea parting as he takes that one to the house. Corey Coleman had one of the craziest catches I've ever seen in 2015 in Manhattan, Kansas, going over cornerback Duke Shelley and bringing it off his helmet for a touchdown. That was sick. And then Denzel Mims, when Kansas State was here the next year, going up, one hand, ball kind of goes off his hand, and he comes down with the touchdown to help Baylor win a close one here in Waco. Which Baylor play against Kansas State is your favorite? Jackson, it's time for us to set the stage. And in this one, here's how I would set it. Baylor and Kansas State, to me, might be the two most parallel teams in the country, and certainly in the Big 12 Conference. And here's what I mean by that. Both of these teams came into this season with very high expectations. Very high expectations for the team, for the quarterback, pretty well-respected defensive-minded head coaches, thinking conference championship might be in front of them. Both teams have kind of stumbled out of the gate. Not in the same way, by the way. I do not want to act like Baylor being 3-2 is the same with a road win over SMU as Kansas State losing to Army. Okay, let's not pretend like these are the same. But both of these teams can still get into that championship picture, but they gotta like flip a switch here today, both teams. And this game, I think, sets the tone for both these teams. And I kind of said this when Baylor played Arizona State, but it's even more true today. The loser of this game is going to have a very disappointed fan base. And this whole season, I think, becomes a disappointment because you're probably out of the Big 12 title hunt unless something goes weird. The winner of this game still has everything in front of them.
Yeah, it's difficult to overstate just how problematic Kansas State's opening to the season was. I believe they gave up the home game to play Iowa State in Dublin, Ireland. That was a complete disaster, both on the field, but also you lose the running back, Dylan Edwards, for the first couple weeks of the season on a game-opening kick return or early punt return. And then the next week, you come back home, little jet lag, a little bit tired. Everybody almost loses to North Dakota. Like, that's not a big deal. And then the next week, they lose to Army.
Yeah.
Then they lose at Arizona the week after that before people were really too confident about Arizona. And so when they beat UCF last week with Dylan Edwards back in the lineup, there really is this question of, you were almost 0-4.
Yeah.
And you beat UCF. Congratulations. You're at home against a team that's not going to make a bowl game this season.
Right.
But you were almost 0-4, and you're coming here to Waco with all really your whole season on the line. If you lose this game, I don't know if there's really any chance for this team to make a bowl game. They've still got TCU, still got Texas Tech, still got Utah on that schedule. This could be the hinge point on what this team looks like in the postseason.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, I can't imagine, right? Like, another parallel for these teams, right? Baylor, Big 12 champs in 2021, Kansas State, 2022. So these are both very proud programs, both programs that have won Big 12 championships in this decade, and both fan bases probably very frustrated and asking questions today. Love that this game's in Waco. I say that, and yet all we were talking about after that Arizona State game was Dave Aranda's record at home since 2022 against big Power 4 teams. Not good. Not good. Maybe this should be in Manhattan. Baylor needs to, and Dave Aranda said as much this week, reestablish that home field advantage today.
Yeah, that's 4-12 at home against Power Conference teams in the last 3.5 seasons.
And 2 of those were Kansas, by the way. So
yes,
however you feel about that.
And 1 was Oklahoma State. So
yeah.
That was that halfback pitch in the own end zone for a safety. So
yes.
Not been a big McLean defender so far this past couple years, but this should be your opportunity, right? Again, this is a team that was supposed to be 0-4, save for a late game stretch against North Dakota. So really borderline Kansas State team that unfortunately just is hitting its stride going into Waco.
Absolutely. And by the way, some injuries for Kansas State are going to play a factor in this game. Dylan Edwards expected to play, but on a call this week, I heard probably 4 receivers out. They're going to have to go a lot of tight end heavy sets. They're probably going to use that 2 quarterback set that they implemented against UCF. That's right, folks. If you like 2 quarterback offenses, which I've got one friend that's just like, every team should always play 2 quarterbacks. If you like that, you're going to see it from Kansas State today. They're going to have to get a little creative offensively. And then defensively, and we'll talk more about this when we talk about what Joe said to me earlier this week. They, like Baylor, are very susceptible on the back end, giving up a lot of big plays downfield, which you would think works in Baylor's favor.
Yeah, and I think Baylor right now, the main thing that's pushing this team forward is having the strongest weaponry core in the Big 12 at least, unless you want to go even broader than that. And so Sawyer's great, running game is great, but it's really those pass catchers who are pushing this team forward, who are consistently that's the upside, right? The ceiling is as high as Michael Trigg and Josh Cameron and all those guys can take it. And so if Kansas State, you can get behind that defense a couple times, that's going to really blow open that game. As
much as these playmakers will play a factor in this game, I think you also, another way these teams are parallel, probably have, my opinion, 2 most talented running backs in the Big 12 conference. Dylan Edwards, speed, like very much like Kansas State legacy backs before him, Deuce Vaughn, Darren Sproles, leading rusher in school history. If he hits the edge, he's gone. Dude is a dynamic athlete. There's a reason he was back there to return punts, even though it didn't work out so well in Ireland, right? Bryson Washington, we know. Like, dude can run, but it's the between the tackles, tenacity, vision, kind of more your traditional running back. It may be that despite those weapons you just talked about, this comes down to, can Bryson Washington tote the rock? Baylor, 11-1 in their last 12 games when rushing for over 150 yards as a team. That's going to play a factor today.
Yeah, Bryson Washington, you wouldn't realize it just looking at the film, but he leads the Big 12 in both carries and total touches from scrimmage. I mean, this is a guy who has been a workhorse.
That shocked me when I heard that this week.
Yeah, and there have been some, 14 carry games in there, but 31 carries against SMU, a lot more interest in the passing game than you've seen recently, or than you saw last season for Bryson Washington. To me, I look at Dylan Edwards and I say, okay, he rushed for more yards last week than any Kansas State player had rushed for the entire season. This is the offense. This is the hope, right? If you have those 2 really dynamic, speedy guys in the backfield, you're not going to be able to contain Avery Johnson,
right?
As Baylor, right? I mean, Sam Levitt was uncontainable. Jackson Arnold was uncontainable. Avery Johnson is faster. I mean, Avery Johnson poses new problems.
Yeah, correct.
And if Dylan Edwards is at full strength and able to compete in that way, I I'd be a little concerned about that.
Absolutely. Coming up on the program, we'll have Joe Tillery join us. He will actually talk about that exact thing, how Dylan Edwards opens up this offense for Avery to run. We're going to take a break. Thanks so much to Central National Bank for sponsoring Setting the Stage. When we come back, my best friend from college and I debate. Jackson, you might enjoy this. Who are your favorite little guys in the history of Baylor athletics? 5'7"?
5'7".
5'7"? We'll talk about some football players who are about the same size. When we come back, this is Green and Gold Game Day.
Rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup. From cars, trucks, to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome back to Green and Gold Game Day, presented by the Rogue Media Network. My name is Scotty Swingler, and this is a segment that we are going to call First Roar. And I will welcome in now one of my best friends from my Baylor days, who I like to yell at about football, and he yells back at me. This is Michael Bartlemay, everybody. What's up, B-May?
What's going on?
So, Bartlemay, we in our friend group like to argue a lot about football. Even this week, we had some spirited back and forth in the text thread. And, we were like, let's build some list kind of around Baylor football. And, when I think of Kansas State, I think of a lot of really outstanding players over the years. You and I talk all the time about how good Tyler Lockett was when we saw him play at McLean Stadium. But two of the guys that are so notable to me, and I'm 5'7", so maybe that has something to do with it, are Deuce Vaughn, who just a few years ago was maybe the best running back in the Big 12, despite his stature. And then the all-time leading rusher at Kansas State, Darren Sproles. has the school rushing record, and he was 5'6". Of course, played for the San Diego Chargers for a long time, right behind LaDainian Tomlinson. Was a very notable NFL player. Also had some time elsewhere in the league. But I remember watching Darren Sproles play at Floyd Casey when I was a kid, and being so fascinated by a guy at that size being able to play football at the level he did. And so we thought it'd be fun. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what we're going to rank today, Michael, how you interpret this list?
We're gonna rank our top 5 little guys. And I use guys as a gender neutral term because, Scotty, I did not just do Baylor football.
I also did not just do Baylor football. So that's good. So little guys, kind of a broad, like I didn't set like a height or weight limit on this, right? But it's Baylor athletes, we'll just say, who were significantly undersized. Yes. And we're ranking each of us the top 5 across all sports.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. I will go first. And I will admit my list is football heavy because, heck, we're covering Baylor football today. Football is my favorite sport. But I'm going to start, Michael, with Baylor track and field.
Oh, dang, I didn't get to track and field.
Michael, the same years we were in school, Tiffany McReynolds, track and field athlete, 5'0", 91 pounds, set a school record in what race? Do you remember this?
I don't remember this.
The 60-meter hurdles. Height doesn't matter in some track events. In hurdles, I would think it might. 5'0", 91 pounds, set the school record in the 60-meter hurdles. She was a multiple-time All Big 12 honoree. She was the NCAA runner-up in 2014 in the 60-meter hurdles. A 4-time All-American. Tiffany McReynolds is number 5 for me of, again, quote-unquote, little guys. Number 4, Taylor Young. I mean, how can you not, man? He was actually on our last list we did of number 11s in Baylor football history, right? Taylor Young, 5'9" was his listed height. He might not be that tall. 225 his listed weight, built like a freight train. Of course, one of the best linebackers in school history, all Big 12 first teams. Set the Baylor linebacker record for sacks and tackles for loss. Outstanding player. Just at that position, right? Being 5'9", if he is that tall, is not odd for any position in football. Running back, for instance, Baylor's had a couple that were 5'9" that were outstanding. Linebacker, bizarre, and he was a beast. Okay. Another 5'9" Baylor football player is my number 3, Thomas Everett. Thomas Everett, the first ever Jim Thorpe Award winner, a 2-time consensus All-American, and a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl champion, was listed at 5'9", 180. And my father-in-law played football with Thomas and says he wasn't that tall. He wasn't that tall. So Thomas Everett, number 3 on my list of little guys. Number 2, and Michael, you and I both know that this listed height and weight, love him. It's BS. Did you know Baylor basketball had Pierre Jackson listed at 5'10"?
Yeah.
Michael, he's not 5'10".
I've seen him in person. There's no way.
I'm 5'7". I've stood next to Pierre a couple of times. He is nowhere close to 3 inches taller than me. He is taller than me, but I might give him an inch. But Pierre Jackson, of course, arguably one of Baylor's greatest point guards ever. I mean, if it wasn't for Davion Mitchell, I think that conversation would be very easy, actually. Set the school record for points in a game with 48. 2-time All Big 12 player. And by the way, you know why he's my Baylor basketball pick? That man could slam. You remember when he beat Quincy Acey in a dunk contest?
I do remember that.
My God. 5'8" or 5'9" by my guesstimate. Pierre Jackson, of course, played a little bit in the NBA for the Dallas Mavericks, but has a lot of success overseas as a pro basketball player. And then number 1 for me, Michael, and honestly, it was number 1 as soon as we thought of this list, and I did all the research, and it cannot change. It's Gerald McNeil, the Ice Cube, or as he was called by...
You love McNeil. You love Gerald McNeil.
I do, and as he was called by Grant Taff, the water bug, because he just skirted around guys so quick. He was listed at 5'7", 145 pounds. 145 pounds, Michael. And again, my father-in-law says he wasn't even that big.
He wasn't that big, yeah.
He wasn't even that big. Let's just go through Gerald McNeil's accomplishments real quick. As a receiver, at 5'7", We'll call it 135 pounds. All-American, 3-time All-Southwest Conference first team. Set school records at Baylor at the time for receptions, receiving yards, punt return yards, and all-purpose yards. And then he goes to the NFL, and here are his career stats in the NFL at 5'7", maybe $140, Michael. He had 1,700 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. He had almost 2,000 punt return yards and 4 punt return touchdowns. He had over 3,000 kick return yards and a kick return touchdown in the NFL at 5'7", 145 soaking wet. Gerald McNeil, number 1 little guy in Baylor athletics history. I got to wax poetic about my list for a little bit. I now hand you the keys.
I didn't get that deep. I'll be honest with you. My list is a little bit more modern. But I'm going to start off with Baylor baseball. And I'm going to start with, I have a tie for my number 5. I cheated.
That is cheating.
I have Josh Ludy and Lawton Langford, both all Big 12 players off that 2012 Baylor baseball team. Josh Ludy is 5'10", which is only like a couple inches short for a catcher. Lawton Langford is a 5'9" shortstop. Man,
awesome.
Man out there getting work, and was a first-team all Big 12 player by the time he left Baylor.
Yeah, I'm gonna eliminate Ludi from your.
But I just wanted to give Ludi
your list.
I wanted to give Ludi some shine. Number 4, I have Tweety Carter, who is your first big recruit of the Scott Drew era, and I think he's the first McDonald's All-American.
First McDonald's All-American, correct?
That's right. And was part of that backcourt. Was part of that amazing backcourt with Lacerius Dunn. Took him to the Elite Eight. All that stuff. 3, I have Taylor Young, who you already waxed poetic about. 2, I also have Pierre Jackson, who I also saw in person, and 5'11", standing on top of bricks. There's no way. And number 1, I have women's basketball. Odyssey Sims, undersized for a point guard. Number 1. That's your number 1, quote unquote, little guy at Baylor University Athletics, because there is very little that Brittany Griner would have been in that 40-0 season without Odyssey Sims next year.
Facts.
And she was a beast.
So I'll give you some love for the Tweety Carter pick, because he, like Pierre, was listed at 5'11", and I actually saw him at church a few weeks ago. He ain't 5'11", dog. My father's 5'11", and he looks up at my dad. So yeah, no, that's a good pick. Odyssey, though, I'll just ask, does 5'8", which is I believe her listed height.
I Googled it. Point guards in the NBA average 5'11". Okay.
In the WNBA?
In the WNBA.
Okay, there you go. I didn't feel like that was incredibly short. Like Jana Van Geitenbeek, who will probably start for Baylor women's basketball this year, is 5'4". Yeah, like that. Yeah. That crossed my mind, and she's an outstanding shooter player if she can stay healthy. But okay, I'm not going to diss the Odyssey Sims pick. She helped me win some money on Underdog this week. So
there you go.
There we go. Michael, who this is impromptu, by the way. We didn't plan for this. Who is your all-time favorite little guy in any sport ever?
In any sport ever.
Yeah, and for anybody at any level. Yeah. I'm just curious.
I loved watching I'll be honest with you, I love the little basketball players. Like I loved watching Earl Boykin would come to town, you'd be like, this man is 5'5" and just like dicing some guys up. And I found that amazing. But probably my number 1 is JJ Barea. JJ Barea is like in that title.
Barea crossed my mind. Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to not be a huge JJ Barea fan, because there was a moment when JJ Barea like locked up LeBron in the post, and you're like, hey man, that guy's 5'8". Maybe you should just back him down and get some work done.
I'm gonna tell you, part of why I asked is Sproles was incredible. I really think Deuce Vaughn is in contention for me. I really think he is at 5'6". I was really hoping he'd stick more of a role with the Cowboys. He is so dynamic with the football, man. Like so special. And they did keep Kevontae Turpin, who's 5'9", and also a very energetic player. But man, I loved watching Deuce Vaughn play at Kansas State. And so history of great running backs. Another one coming to Waco today, as we've discussed. Michael, thank you so much, man. This
I
was
would like to
great.
get off my honorable mention, please.
I assumed when you said you had 2 at 5 and Josh Moody was one. You picked 7 for a top.
I picked 7. I picked 7. My honorable mention, and you're gonna laugh at this. How many power forwards?
Scotty Swingler
are 6'7". How many power forwards are 6'7"?
Baylor's had a couple. Yeah.
Quincy AC.
Great.
Is my honorable mention little guy pick at 6'7" as a power forward.
Well, and if you want to even get a little smaller than that, Mark Vidal was a really good power forward for a national championship team at 6'5".
That's a great point. Yeah.
6'5". Also,
like the round mound of rebound out there.
Not nearly as good at basketball as Mark Vidal was. But for our fans of the 80s Baylor Bears, don't forget, linebacker James Francis also played power forward at about 6'4", 6'5".
That's a good point.
And that was pretty special as well. Michael, thanks so much. Let's do it again before the next home game. Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears.
Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball. We didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge,
Yes?
and you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have 2 responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive into Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Welcome back, Green and Gold Game Day. We're live here at the Camp Finfo tailgate. Finally, some folks starting to show up here, getting ready for a great Big 12 game between Kansas State and Baylor. Jackson, I just saw during that last segment, Baylor has announced captains for this game: Devin Bobby, Kobe Prentice, Sawyer Robertson, and Keaton Thomas. And as you pointed out, a lot of familiar names that don't surprise anyone. Kobe Prentice, the touchdown king. How many? 5 touchdowns?
5 and 16 catches.
Dude.
Nothing if not efficient.
Very efficient, Kobe Prentice, taking the ball to the end zone often. It is a gold out today, so if you are still at home or getting ready to come out, make sure you wear gold. I will change. I know I'm wearing black. I will change. You'll be in the press box, so you will not
allowed
change.
to change.
You will not change, but you look great, Jackson. Man, okay. So earlier this week, I host a show once a week called Please Bear With Me with Terrence Ganaway. And I did something kind of unique this week I don't normally do, but I was so interested in this matchup. As I said, I think it's two parallel teams that are feeling very similar about their seasons. And this game is the hinge point for each today as far as can you get to that Big 12 title hunt. And so I reached out to some Kansas State burners, Jackson, on X. And I said, if I'm going to talk to anyone about this Kansas State football team, who should I bring on to Please Bear With Me? And everyone said, talk to this guy, Joe Tillery. I'd never heard of Joe. I follow him on X. He's got a show, the Joe Tillery Show. Joe is great. You should go follow Joe if you're a Kansas State fan or a Baylor fan who wants to keep up with Kansas State. But I asked Joe some very specific questions earlier this week, and I found some of his responses really interesting, Jackson. So first of all, I asked Joe, I said, I have gained a reputation at Rogue Media as a Avery Johnson hater. I am not, by the way. I think Avery Johnson's a special player. If he played for Baylor, I would be geeking over Avery Johnson very, very obnoxiously, okay? But I just said before the season, there's a lot of hype around this guy, and I don't know that we've seen it. I don't know that we've seen it on the field. By the way, we're here getting ready for this game. I still don't know that we've seen it. I don't know that we've seen this player reach his ceiling or the way that everybody's talked about him, right? So I asked Joe about that, and I asked him what he expects from Avery Johnson this football game, and I found his response to be really helpful, actually, in thinking about this football game. Let's take a look at what Joe told me earlier this week.
Is it quarterbacks or a quarterback where I feel like whether it's Avery Johnson, the coaching staff, I'm of the belief it's more of the coaching staff, considering what we saw against UCF. It felt like there was almost a conscious effort to say, Avery, we don't want you taking hits, which to me is ludicrous because you have a guy with 4.3 speed, and that's his best aspect. Like, you're not going to ask Lamar Jackson to be a pocket quarterback. You're not going to ask these guys that are elite outside the pocket to just, let's hang out, let's wait, let's survey the field. I'm an Avery Johnson guy. I think he's showed steps in the passing game already this season, but everything's going to be easier when the kid's averaging 6 yards, 7 yards a carry the second there's daylight. There's been the good moments, there's been the bad moments, but overall, like, he's taken steps forward in the passing game. He's finding, guys around him, but the continuity around him hasn't been there. Dylan Edwards, one of your best weapons, not healthy. Yeah. Jace Brown banged up. Jerron Bradley breaks his hand, or whatever the case was with the hand injury. So it's tough for me to look at it and not say what if or how will this bode going forward. So it kind of feels like the start to the season has been more of a gray area for Avery Johnson, but I like that he's turned down the turnovers. I like that he's finding guys on the right page. I like that he's completing the deep ball. But the things that you trusted last season were his legs, his athleticism, that's where it's almost like you're making a conscious effort not to be there. So overall, I'd kind of grade his performance at like 6.5 out of 10 based on what he's capable of, what we've seen to this point.
Yeah, so Joe Tillery of the Joe Tillery Show giving us a very honest evaluation there of Avery Johnson. And Jackson, I found it interesting because I haven't watched a lot of Kansas State outside of that opener against Iowa State in week 0 in Ireland that we talked about. They said they've limited so far this season it seems as if his ability or the number of carries he's going to have. And that, as Joe pointed out, is insane because this guy is a weapon on the ground. And by the way, if there's going to be a game where he has an opportunity to get some serious numbers on the ground, I hate to say it, it's probably against Baylor today.
And it sounds a little familiar, right? Baylor fans are well aware of a quarterback who maybe has held back a little bit on the running game so far this season. But he is. I mean, he came in as a 5-star guy, highest ranked in-state quarterback I think that Kansas State has ever had on their team. And he was that running option behind Will Howard. They would bring him in just for those running plays. So he is the guy. If you let him loose, that's the biggest threat, even more so than Dylan Edwards, even more so than this defense that I think eventually has to catch on given Chris Kleiman's history as a coach. I think he's the guy that you're most scared of.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I said this going into the Auburn game, and Baylor didn't do it. I'm going to say it again. Not that I'm a defensive guru like Dave Aranda, but listen, if you're Baylor's defense, your game plan has to be make him throw. Make him. And Joe's right. He has improved as a passer this season. They are clearly putting a concerted effort into making him a passer. But still, if I'm going to say take away his arm, take away his legs, I want to try to take away his legs. I would be trying to take, and Dave had that weird quote a couple weeks ago about a spy that's not a spy, whatever. Just spy the guy every play. Like, Keaton Thomas, you are not letting, Avery get out of the pocket. That's how I would attack this. Make him throw. And is your secondary going to get beat a couple times? Yes, but we already talked about it. Kansas State expecting 4 receivers down today. 4 of their top 6 receivers are out. That's a huge help, obviously. So I would think make him throw. And maybe a couple of those receivers beat you a couple times. But I'd rather see that than see him do what Jackson Arnold did in the opening game, where it's just every other play we're scrambling for 20 yards with no resistance.
Yeah, and it's tough because who in the linebacking core has that level of speed and change of direction other than Keaton Thomas, who you really need in the run game?
Yeah, right.
Like you don't have that deep linebacking core like maybe you've had in the past of guys who can maybe spy the quarterback. If you really trust Caleb Burns to fill in the run,
I was going to say
maybe that's your guy.
This is Caleb Burns' time. It's his time to shine in that regard, I think. Yeah.
So if he's ready, then maybe that's the move. But yeah,
absolutely. We'll have Caleb Burns featured in a poll later in the show. By the way, stick around. We're leading you all the way up to kickoff here on Green and Gold Game Day. Matt Mosley has joined us, grabbing a little breakfast over there. We'll have him up here at 9 o'clock. We'll also be on KWTX at 9 o'clock. So make sure you check us out on TV. So that is how maybe Baylor's defense needs to worry about Avery Johnson. But I also asked Joe Tillery of the Joe Tillery podcast, what is Kansas State's mindset going to be to contain the nation's leading passer, Sawyer Robertson, in this game? Here's what Joe had to say about Kansas State's options to defend Baylor.
Hope is that Sawyer Robertson misses the bus or doesn't show up or doesn't, like, if you can just be elsewhere at kickoff time, just don't be on the football field. Just try to just take the day off for us. That'd be great. But in reality, it's as good as drawing on a whiteboard and saying, this is what we should do. What can we do? And I think that's the issue you're at with Baylor's offense. Like, when you look at elite quarterbacks, whether it's college football, high school football, NFL football, especially as you get up into the pros, like, the best way to beat guys like Sawyer Robertson is to not give him the opportunity to affect the game by controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the football, milk the clock as much as possible. Something Kansas State hadn't been good at, rushing the football, until yet, like 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago. So that one's kind of an interesting juxtaposition there, but keeping the football out of his hands, step one. 2, K-State has been a very pressure-heavy defense when it comes from slot blitzers or guys that, they're moving up in the defensive line. They switched from a 3-3-5, got a 4-man front this year, and they've had a ton more pressure. That kind of bodes with a confusing part on the other side of the football where the secondary for K-State is really young. Jacob Parrish goes to the NFL. Julius Brents isn't there. Eka Boydo's not there anymore. Guys that are all Big 12 caliber players aren't there. We've got 2 true sophomores starting out wide or on DBs, which they've been solid, but you also haven't seen an offense like Baylor. You won't see an offense like Baylor the rest of the season. So that's a question that I'm going to look at and say, can Kansas State not surrender the massive deep plays? Like Dave Aranda, K-State's got a defensive head coach in Chris Kleiman, a guy that's a former defensive back himself, been a defensive guru for years. But the defense has given up big play after big play after big play, which is honestly the worst case scenario against Baylor. But that's going to be the big one for me, is how does the secondary handle it? Because the linebackers, you've got Austin Romaine, you've got some world-class guys on the D-line, got some guys in the linebacker room. But the secondary will be interesting. VJ Payne having a down year. Quay Moss has looked good. Gunnar Maldonado, slow start to the season. Transfer from Arizona, had a pick last week, a huge pass breakup. So that's going to be the matchup I'm watching for K-State defensively, is how are you going to handle all of these weapons that Sawyer Robertson has? Because truly, you can't pick and choose. You can't say, all right, let's make Sawyer beat us, or all right, let's make the rushing attack beat us. You don't want to choose either. You just hope everybody across the board has an okay day. That's what you're looking for. Likelihood is not very likely, to say the least.
And just to spoil, if you didn't see that interview with Joe earlier this week, please bear with me. He did pick Baylor to win this game, in large part because he said, I don't know how Kansas State stops this offense with Baylor's bevy of weapons. Certainly for Baylor fans, that's the best case scenario. He did mention one name, though, Jackson, that I'm going to be watching today. Quay Moss is slowly or quickly, depending on how you look at it, becoming a star there in the secondary that's otherwise pretty depleted for Kansas State.
Yeah, when you compare these 2 quarterbacks, you've got Avery Johnson. Average yards per attempt is something like 6 yards, right? There's a lot on and behind the line of scrimmage. His numbers look good: 62% completion, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns to 1 interception. but he's not doing what Sawyer Robertson is doing, which is consistently attacking downfield, stretching out that defense vertically, and opening up lanes in the running game. Quay Moss is great, but are you going to have 11 Quay Mosses out there? Are you going to have the defense that can guard 5-6 different receiving threats and Bryson Washington? At this point, given what we've seen from Kansas State, I think the answer is no.
I think you're right. I think Baylor's got an advantage on this side of the ball for sure. And, I felt after that Arizona State game, I wondered why Baylor didn't attack vertically more. And I don't know. You never know. Maybe there were plays called and there were checks and maybe Arizona State, more than what I could see from my fan perspective, was compensating for that deep ball, and that's why we didn't see it. But I would really like to see Spav take a playbook from the old Baylor regime, which is first drive, sling it, take a shot. Let's get Cole Wilson on a rail route. Let's get Kobe Prentice on a seam route. Let's do that like third play.
Kobe Prentice on a seam route, just every play,
or
it's
that
unstoppable.
When I was in school and this happens almost the first drive of every game, we would just say run the touchdown play. My friends and I would take bets. This was 2011 and 2015, 2014. I was in school. How many plays will it take us to score? It was usually about 3. It's usually about 3 in that era. By the way, Bryce Petty will join us in hour 3 of Green and Gold Game Day. We're taking you all the way up to kickoff. I want to remind you, if you are watching us now on X, please come subscribe on YouTube, Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube. You can catch us before every Baylor game. We are efforting. I don't know that I should announce this. We would really like to be in Fort Worth in 2 weeks. We'd really like to be there. So I hope you'll get to see that in a couple weeks. We're going to enjoy the week off next week. When we come back, Pete Souza of the Pete Souza Show joins us to make his predictions. This is Green and Gold Game Day, presented by 365 Sports.
And I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Drive in the fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out GatherCoRemodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At Game Finfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
And I'm a third generation.
There we go. Welcome back. Brazos Parking, Green and Gold Game Day, 365 Sports. Jackson Posey, Scotty Swingler, Faith Lynch, and Matt Mosley just around the corner. Right now, we're going to throw it to Pete Souza. Pete hosts a daily show here with Rogue Media. I get to work on that show every day. It's a delight. It's sponsored by Slovachex. Thank you, Slovachex, for your support of Pete Souza and Green and Gold Game Day. Folks, if you're driving through West, don't go across to the other side of the highway. Get your butt to Slovachex. Get some kolaches, get some sausages, get some, what was Matt bragging about a couple weeks ago? The dried venison sticks or something. Go get the good stuff at Slovachex. Pete Souza every week for Green and Gold Game Day makes his predictions. Let's throw it to Pete.
All right, this is Pete Souza, and you're watching the Green and Gold Show, and it's time to tap in to the wellspring of resources here at the Rogue Media Network and the Pete Souza Show. I want to share with you some predictions that are in fact going to happen this Saturday, today, Baylor, Kansas State. The first one, okay? And this is like a real football-y thing. Kansas State is going to use their tight ends a lot in this football game, which is scary for Baylor because it kind of goes back to like old school Kansas State football. They're doing it because they have to. They got a lot of receivers injured right now, and it's an opportunity for Coach Chris Kleiman and Matt Wells, as offensive coordinator, to take advantage of the talent they have in the tight end room because there is a lot of talent there. We're talking about they have like a 5-star recruit, Lincoln Cure, who hasn't really played much this year. They may have to use him. Garrett Oakley, tremendous tight end, a lot of time. You'll probably see him. A lot of time at Kansas State, you'll probably see him, right? So there is going to be a real insurgence of tight ends for Kansas State. By the way, what's the kid's name? Ancio. Will Ancio had a touchdown last week, a tight end. So you're going to see that. Also, another Kansas State one, you're going to see 2 quarterbacks again, right? Last week, they went ahead and used Blake Barnett and Avery Johnson on the field at the same time. That's going to be something that Dave Aranda has to contest with again on Saturday. Today, because the problem is Avery Johnson doesn't leave the field when you look and you see Blake Barnett on the field. And Blake Barnett is a 220-pound quarterback. He's Avery Johnson's backup, but he seeks out contact. Chris Kleiman and Matt Wells love that. So that's an opportunity for them to have a huge day on offense. And that huge day on offense will continue. These are all Kansas State predictions, by the way, with Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards is going to get 20 touches in this game, okay? Dylan Edwards getting 20 touches is dangerous because he is as prolific as it gets of a back in the Big 12, and he's finally found his rhythm. He played 7 snaps at Arizona, really did nothing. He was not up to speed. If you remember, he was hurt in that first game against Iowa State, a high ankle sprain, and that was he suffered that injury on the first punt of the game. So Dylan Edwards is up to full strength, and I know Kansas State wants to get him the ball at least 20 times. So Baylor will have to contend with that, but expect Dylan Edwards to have the rock in his hands at least 20 times. Maybe it's catching passes too, because again, we mentioned Kansas State has a lot of wide receivers hurt. They're depleted there. Dylan Edwards will be more of a factor in the passing game too. Look for all that today. But let's face it, Green and Gold fans, we're hoping for a Baylor win.
You tell that Pete and I taped that right after he got off of a call with some Kansas State coaches. That Pete, by the way, calling the game today for ESPN Plus. So if you're at home, not coming to McLean, 1, put on gold and come to McLean. But 2, if you're going to stay home, Pete Souza will be calling the game, our Waco's own, on ESPN Plus. So he had some insight, additional insight this week that we don't always have on his show. That was great. We'll see. We will hear more from Pete later in the show today. Jackson, as we get ready to wrap this hour up, let's what else have we not talked about? We've covered quite a bit. We did talk about during one of these breaks, Bryson Washington, as important as he is this game, is listed as questionable. I think he'll play, but I have no factual basis for that. It's more positive thinking than anything. I don't think we can overstate, especially without Dawson Pendergrass this season, how important his presence is, even if it's just 5 carries today. Like, just having him on the field makes such a difference for this Baylor offense.
Yeah, it's sort of like in the NBA when you would have Kyle Korver out there. Like, even if he doesn't have the ball, you've got to stay pinned to this guy in the corner because he's going to be able to take that shot. You've got to put more guys in the box because of the threat of Bryson Washington, because of his ability to pound that ball between the tackles. And when he's out, Michael Turner's great, Caden Knighton's great, but they're not going to have that same defensive gravity that Bryson Washington does. And because of that, that's going to make it tougher on the passing game and on those receivers if you're able to send more safeties back, if you're able to play more too high looks, if you're able to just push that defense further and further back, it's going to make it tougher on Sawyer Robertson in the passing game.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, only on Green and Gold Game Day, Baylor's premier pregame show. Do we already have references this hour to J.J. Barea and now Kyle Korver? Only here. Only here, right? That's right. That's right. Let's check the results of this poll, Andrew. Can we pull up these poll results? I want to see this. We asked, what is your favorite play all time against K-State? And this surprises me, actually, Jackson. I really expected Lake Seastrunk's 80-yard touchdown run to be the top one. It is second place. People love the Kendall Wright Superman diving catch, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That is quite the play. Corey Coleman over Duke Shelley. That catch is wild. I think Mims' catch deserves a little more than 8%, but I get it. I get it. These are some great options here. Good stuff. Thank you so much for participating. We'll have another fan poll next hour. Again, Matt Mosley, Faith Lynch will be with us shortly, and we'll be on KWTX. Jackson, thanks so much. Hour 1. We got about 2 minutes left. Final thoughts from you before this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of game that Baylor has struggled with consistently over the past 3 to 4 years, where you're at home. It's a team that you should be able to beat. You're favored at McLean Stadium against a power conference team. You just put the period there, right? That's a game that Baylor has struggled in. And it's the type of game that you need to start winning and winning comfortably if you want to be a real contender in the Big 12. Baylor has the pieces. They have the talent. They're going up against the Kansas State team that is getting back on the rails, but they're still a little shaky there. This is a game that the Bears absolutely should win. And if they don't, that would concern me about where they're going the rest of the season.
I agree. Baylor has a lot of advantages here today. We've talked about Kansas State's depleted secondary, Kansas State's depleted receiving core. They do have Dylan Edwards back, who's a heck of a player. But if you can't figure out how to stop Edwards and Avery, just the two of them, from gutting you in the run game, there are some serious questions that remain. And I think I've overused the phrase must win this season. This actually is. It actually is. Your Big 12, any title, again, for both these teams, any title aspirations will change on this game, 100%. The way your fan base feels, especially for Baylor at home, after what we've talked about with this home record, changes today, depending on what happens.
This is the only home game in October.
Wow. Great point. Yeah, because bye week, then TCU, then
you can't
Cincinnati.
build that energy back until November 1st against UCF.
Right. Jackson Posey.
Scotty Swingler.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Jackson Posey, Baylor Lariat, helping us get through this hour 1 of the Green and Gold Game Day show. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are not with us on YouTube, I would ask you, please go subscribe on YouTube, Green and Gold Game Day. In just a little bit, we'll take a break. When we come back, we will have Matt Mosley, Faith Lynch, hour 2 of the program. This is Green and Gold Game Day from 365 Sports.
best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge,
Yes?
and you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
.365 Sports.
Welcome back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. I am Faith Lynch here with Matt Mosley. Good morning, KWTX. We are excited to be here this morning. Matt, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I this is what an opportunity it is. Hello to our TV audience, our YouTube audience. We love being with you, and I mean, we're close. This means that the two of us are on, so it means we're 2 hours away.
Yes.
And this feels like a huge moment in the Baylor season. And I'm seeing already too much purple. You can see them walking behind our set. These folks do show up. K-Staters, they got great fans. They got great support. But hopefully the Bears will start to show up this morning. And I'm seeing lots of opportunities for breakfast tacos. I even see right off there, it's great to be out here at Camp Info, by the way, some mimosas being served. Is that, or maybe it's just orange juice. I don't know. They're carrying around something, but tremendous to be with you, Faith. And this is an exciting day. And this is, man, I keep saying it, but this really feels like a crossroads. And this season can go wherever it wants to go. But if they win going into the bye, boy, that's a great feeling. When you go to the bye, you're 4-2. Everything is still on the table. Conference, everything. And we have a lot going on today, and a lot of people, and we've got Coach McGuire.
I'm very excited.
Your former coach.
Yeah.
Faith played volleyball here at Baylor. Ryan McGuire. They played last night. They came up short. Extremely close game. It was number 15 against number 18 in the country. So this is a good Baylor team, and I hope he'll still come by. I was kind of, when I saw the loss, I was like, dang, is this going to impact us? But no, he's a professional. Yeah. He'll be fine.
He's a good sport about it. Before we get more into it, I want to go ahead and launch our Hour 2 fan vote. Which emerging Baylor player will make the biggest impact today? I like this poll a lot. Running back Michael Turner, linebacker Caleb Burns, running back Caden Knight, and cornerback Caldera Wilford. I want to go with running back Caden Knight. Is that what you're feeling?
No.
No.
No,
I don't think we're ever on the same page with stuff like this, Matt. But
no, I think that's a good one though. I'm not opposed to you picking that, but because they need him. This feels like a huge Bryson game.
Yeah.
But as far as emerging players, it's a good list. We got to look at this. Who's healthy. We got to get our final list on who's doubtful and who's out for this game because one of the players on this fan vote. Caleb Burns was on that list, and so I was a little bit concerned about that. But we're running back heavy on this list. I've noticed Michael Turner and Caden Knight. I'd like to get some others involved, perhaps. But
or whoever else Matt wants. Submit your votes. Interact with us. Be on our YouTube poll as well, and we'll check them at the end of hour 2.
Yeah, and you can do like write-in votes.
Yeah,
right.
We'll take whatever.
You could come in and then we'll post those. And that will be great. But I'm hearing some music. I'm hearing some music that I love. And Mr. Crownover's back there moving around. You could tell. I don't know what that says about me. It freaks me out when somebody gets right behind me. I'm just like, what are they doing? Are they trying to get to the set? Can we get some security? All right. Is it time?
It is time to open up Mosley's mind.
Okay. Let me find my camera. It is time to. I feel like there needs to be. Oh, look at that! Is it? Oh, it's the Brazos Landing. Oh my gosh, I was there the other day. The Bang Bang Shrimp, unbelievable, and just had a wonderful time right out there on the river with some live shots, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. It is time for Mosley's mind. Okay, good. I just want that camera to be squarely on me here. This is a Faith. This is a bring your own energy. Yeah. You know how at the Farrell Center occasionally, now y'all would have games against Texas and some of the big games where it was just you were going to feed off the crowd and it was kind of easy to get up for a game. Every once in a while, though, you had to bring it with you. You had to pack the energy with you. K-State did it last week. Yeah. They had more physicality. They had more energy. They got a big win over UCF. Then they went into their bye. So that was 2 weeks ago. Bears need something similar. And so energy, physicality is going to be huge. This game, we don't do a lot of gambling on this program. We don't really do any gambling. We don't talk about it a ton. But when you're a 6.5-point favorite at home, that feels like a must. That doesn't feel like the Auburn was about 1.5 or 2 points. Arizona State was within that 1 to 2 points. Those things can kind of go either way. Obviously, the folks in Vegas think Bears are a much better team. They have the more talent. They have the team. This is you go out and you do what you're supposed to do. No matter, and this can't be, the fans didn't. Well, the Baylor line didn't grab all their tickets. We're still got some tickets back here. No. It doesn't matter. The fans will respond. There'll be plenty of fans here, but they'll come rolling back in here with a win. And if you demonstrate, and of course, they're going to go on the road after this bye week, but boy, they have a chance to really change the trajectory of their season. So energy, do what you're supposed to do. And then something that I heard Coach Kleiman talking about Baylor, that's the K-State coach, tempo. Let's go back because Baylor still has a reputation. I don't know if they still have the reputation of running a million plays like the old days. Yeah. And I wondered if that was actually the case. And then I heard some Grayson the other day say that Baylor was in the country a top 5 tempo team, top 5 in the country, which means they're basically between each play, they count the seconds. K-State, as you might, likes to grind it out, wait, let the play clock go. Bears, one of the fastest in all of college football, and I hope it's a jolt. They need to have even more tempo. And what you don't want to do, and Baylor used to be great about this, you don't want to let the defense make those substitutions. No. That was frustrating against
Arizona State, to watch those linemen trudge off the field knowing the refs, because you made a substitution, they got to make a substitution, and the refs were like holding it up forever, and it threw things off. It threw, and boy, they knew exactly what they were doing. The way you combat that is you don't sub out.
Yeah.
You keep I know you want to get other packages. I know you might want to go from 12 personnel to 11 personnel. Stay with what you're doing and get the tempo going. All right. And in fact, I want you to respond to some of this. So I'll at some point. I've come out firing today, but I'll run out of juice here pretty soon. Baylor is 10-1, should be 11-0, because the Colorado game's the one that comes to mind. 11-0 when they run for 150 yards or more over these past couple of years. All right. And the 10-1, counting that Colorado thing, but the Colorado was the Hail Mary. That was awful. Everybody remembers that. But it was, why not? When something works like that, when there's like something staring you in the face, you guys have great success when you commit to the run. Why would you not make that a huge point of emphasis? And I'm not saying you don't throw Sawyer and all that. I'm just saying you don't have to throw him 50 times. Like, I know we all want him to win the Heisman and put up huge numbers, but if he has less than 250 yards passing in this game, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's probably a sign that some of the other things are working. You said Caden Knighton, you see as an emerging player.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a bye week coming up. Bryson's been a little bit banged up, it seems like, but I'd run the heck out of him. I mean, he's here for this season. We have one more season in life with Bryson Washington, and might as well enjoy it.
Yeah. No.
Might as well have a good time with it and cash it. So those are a few things that I've got my own. I've got more.
Good,
but what
good.
do you think so far on those points?
I think it's interesting because I think people are really loving seeing Sawyer throw for 400 yards a game. I think we've been talking about the run game of Baylor of, hey, can we get this going? Can we get this started? We need to see it. We need to see progression, see what our defensive coordinators can do, but we haven't been able to do that. And so part of me feels like there's some underlying reason that they're not able to. Maybe there's practice is not going the way they're wanting it to. Training's not going the way they're wanting it to. Maybe these guys, I feel like Sawyer to me is a game guy. Yes, practice well, whatever, but I think he's a game guy. And so do you have that in that defensive game side of, hey, these are playmakers when it comes to a game. These are gamers. And so I don't know if that is in their toolbox for today or not. But I do think it's interesting that you say, just have Sawyer throw for 250 yards and we're fine.
Yeah, like, you're right. Everybody loves it. And the numbers, the national people don't seem to appreciate Sawyer no matter how much he throws for. He has the touchdowns lead in the country.
Yeah.
He has the passing yardage lead. And ESPN came out and put a list and put him 21st on the list.
Interesting.
This past week. And Jalen Daniels was ahead. And, in fact, they had Gunnar Stockton from Georgia ahead. I mean, honestly, they're just not as good, not as impactful as Sawyer. And no one does more. Yeah, we need security because, like, that's a fraternity brother there. And we got shadows in here. They're going to take the set over here if we don't watch them. And that's an Aggie over there.
Oh, geez.
But, yeah, I think, I mean, if he can come out, get in a rhythm, and just hit a few big plays, that's fine. But I don't think so much has to be put on his shoulders. And it would not be a bad thing at all. And by the way, you can get tempo in the run game. There's nobody that says you can't jump up from a running play and race up to the line of scrimmage. So you can do both of those things. I'm fascinated with what K-State did coming off the bye against UCF, what they put in, and they even subbed in a little Wildcat package. And they should, obviously they're the Wildcats. The coach, I was listening to him this morning, in fact, he didn't want it called that because they truly put in their backup quarterback who is a good passer and is also a good runner. I find it very interesting that I kind of think they're like setting something up. Like they're trying to play another quarterback. Not that, but part of it is because Avery gets banged up. They have to run him a lot. But I just think K-State has a history of having quarterbacks get hurt, and it would not shock me if they continue down this path. And by the way, their offensive coordinator, he was the old Texas Tech head coach, Matt Wells. His wife went to Baylor. He's got a daughter who's been serving on the Baylor staff, and
Recruiting
so
for
lots of ties there. But with the Wells family, but this is going to be a fascinating game, and I just hope everybody's ready to go at 11 because it comes up quick.
It does.
And it's the team that brings the most energy, and I hope that's the Bears today.
No, absolutely. I think you're correct in saying that we may see some different quarterback options here today. I don't think Avery Johnson has lived up to what everyone thinks he's going to be. He was on the Heisman watch list super early this season, which is just blows my mind now that we're 5 games in of he's not doing what everyone's thought he has been able to do. I mean, he has really cool hair, and I think he, looks the part and can maybe be a part of that. But Scotty thought that one was funny, but he just hasn't reached his full potential. And so him now being on the older side of the team, if he's not reaching that now, I don't know if he is going to be able to. So it will be interesting. I wouldn't be shocked. I think you're correct in saying we may have a new quarterback option out there today.
Yep, I think it'll be fun, and we'll keep our eyes on his family members to make sure there's no interesting stuff. Yeah, breaking out in the stands.
That's so embarrassing. Poor guy. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
But no, my segment is coming up. We'll be taking a break here, but we're talking a little bit about Dylan Edwards, who is kind of part of why I think Caden Knighton, that's going to be the matchup today, is in that running back position. But we'll talk a little bit more about him before we get going. But we're going to go to break, and we will see you soon. Stay with us. Enjoy it. Thank you to Brazos Landing, everything they're doing for us, buying into us and being a part of our show. And we will see you in a few.
Rolls along with Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Alan Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome back to the Green and Gold Game Day Show. Thank you for staying with us this morning. Matt, how are we doing? Let's get
Good.
a vibe check. What's going on?
I got good vibes. I got good country music, some classic. I got buddies that have arrived on set. People starting to gather. I think it's going to be a little bit of a late arriving crowd. I have secured a breakfast taco, and thanks to whoever brought those. That's incredible. And then good to be with Camp Fimfo and what they're doing. Love seeing these hats up here too. Scotty is just really, I hate to see him cover up such a great haircut that he has, but this Hondo hat, that is really, really good looking stuff.
This is my guy, Cole Posey. Does some awesome stuff. I have loved his brand ever since he started it. Played baseball at Baylor. He's now at Baylor Law School. Is doing great things with the Hondo Hat Company. So he's really got it going on. I think these are sick. When I told Scotty that, I was like, hey, I got this guy, Hondo Hat Company. They're going to sponsor us. And I was like, this is some stuff. I was like, look at his website. And Scotty immediately was like, well, can I wear one every game, please? Can we put that in the contract?
Well,
thank you to Cole Posey and Hondo Hat Company.
I feel like we have too many Posies in our life, though, with counting Jackson. There's another one. There's a player. There's a Baylor player at some level, a Posey. And then, of course, there's Buster Posey, the famous San Francisco Giants catcher. So there's a lot of Posies out there. Now, I'm kind of excited, though, Faith, as we get kind of closer to kickoff, we'll delve into it. I don't want to dip too much into, like, my behind enemy lines because, I have some stuff.
Yeah. I know you're ready, Matt.
I have some stuff to but I'm very interested in this this Avery Johnson. You've already, I think in the first segment today, you basically called him overrated, and which is that's a Scotty thing. Scotty was very anti Avery Johnson to start the season. The scary thing is he does something that Baylor has really, really struggled against. And so, and that will be on full effect. If they don't run him 10, 15 times, they're crazy. It's like they're not looking at film if they don't do that. But I'm excited to hear what you have about the Kansas State quarterback.
Yes, Faith in the Field. This was my segment for the week. So Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards actually met in the second grade, which I think is really fun. So they played Pee Wee football together, played football together until seventh grade. They went through the recruiting process, and Dylan Edwards was actually committed to K-State with Avery Johnson and then ended up decommitting. Dylan Edwards went to Colorado for his first year, played for Deion Sanders, and then entered the portal. And when he entered the portal, Avery was like, dude, you got to come hang out with this. What a cool picture that is. That's just something that now, being a former athlete, you want to have those pictures forever. So they have reconnected at K-State, and Dylan Edwards has become that guy. Played in the first game, then gets injured, rolls his ankle, comes back against UCF, and 166 yards, 20 carries, and 1 touchdown on the ground against UCF. Vital to K-State winning its first conference game of the season. And so I think with this game today, having this connection and having some of this familiarity is going to be really good for K-State. I think this is going to turn into a game of a running back showdown. Baylor fans are wanting to see Baylor run the ball a lot more, and I think that's going to be possible tonight. I would love to see it turn into a competition of running back guys. I was at Midway game last night, and it turned into a track meet, and so I'd be interested to see if that kind of happens tonight with K-State and Baylor. These are two heavy positions, just leadership-wise, that Avery Johnson's going to rely on Dylan Edwards, and Sawyer Robertson's going to rely on Bryson Washington and Caden Knight to be able to do their job today. So thought that was kind of a fun story of being able to reconnect at a D1 level. You don't get to do that often, but that was kind of a fun
grade school buddies. Where was it? Or is it like what?
They're both
community?
Wichita natives.
Wichita. All right, home of the Koch brothers, the famous Koch brothers that basically have run this country in some respects. I think what you bring up is a good one though, because like DJ Giddens has been their running back the last few years. This team functions better when they have a bell cow. And I would say over the past 15, since Kleiman's been there in the post-Snyder years, and even during Snyder, that's when they function best, and that's when they truly have an identity. And I think the inexperience on the O-line, and they did get better last week, but I think that's hurt them. And Edwards, the guy you're bringing up, has been hurt some this season, and he's been on the injured list, and he's had to miss time. And when he's in there, now what I looked up is that I think now he has 179 yards and a touchdown on the season. He's missed time this year, but you think back to Deuce Vaughn. I even go back to the days of like Michael Bishop. They had Colin Klein at quarterback. They had great running quarterbacks that went with incredible running backs. And I think they have that opportunity with Dylan Edwards. Now, I think one of the issues with Edwards is he's just so small. And the thing is, this place is known for having great small backs. Deuce Vaughn, Darren Sproles back in the day, great quickness. Some of them are slighter than others. And Dylan Edwards, I mean, I'm not saying he's weak. He's a strong, wiry guy, but boy, he can't take that many hits. So they have to, Baylor needs Bryson to take all the carries he can get. And I'd love to see 20 carries or more with Bryson Washington. This guy gets 20 touches or 20 carries or more, it's a problem. I don't think he holds up as well. But that's fun. It's a fun thing to imagine them playing together, all those years ago. And I wonder if Avery Johnson always had the long, flowing red hair, even back to when he was in third grade or whatever that was for.
No, that's awesome. No, I think having Dylan Edwards not be healthy and have one game back from UCF, playing against UCF, having one game back, I think he's going to start to come to his own. I think we're going to see that in this Baylor game. So I would not be surprised if he has the ball a lot this game. But we are going to take another break. When we come back, we'll get more into behind enemy lines. And stay tuned with us. Thank you to KWTX for spending the morning with us. And Big 12 Wraparound will be our next segment.
National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball. We didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge.
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out GatherCoRemodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive into Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Green and Gold Game Day Show. I'm Faith Lynch here with Matt Mosley. Thanks for spending your morning with us. And thank you to KWTX. Pumped to be with y'all this morning. We're going to hear from Pete Souza, Matt's favorite person, who actually is calling the game today, which is awesome for ESPN Plus. Super proud of him. I got to spend the Houston volleyball game with him this week on Wednesday. We got to do that together.
Oh,
so
nice.
That was really fun, but he does a great job of covering the Big 12. He prepares piece for us every week. Big 12 wrap around featuring Pete Souza. You ready to take a look at it?
Do it at 11 on one of these early games or 9, whatever time it is, because we have the whole day.
Yes,
you know.
I agree.
But I would also like to hear his take on last night's game. You know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I like the wraparound, and yeah, anytime you want to go to it, I'm good with that.
This is Pete Souza with the Rogue Media Network studios, and I'm fired up to give you some Big 12 insight on some of the biggest games of the weekend in the conference. The Big 12, by the way, cementing itself as one of the best conferences in the country with all of its wins in the non-con against Power 4 opponents. But now we are really deep in the heart of conference play, right? We've turned the calendar to October. Iowa State and Cincinnati. This one is very interesting. Iowa State is actually an underdog on the road against Cincinnati. Obviously, that's something that's really interesting because they're ranked 14th in the country. Iowa State is down 2 of their starting cornerbacks, or their 2 starting cornerbacks, which makes them vulnerable against a team like Cincinnati and Brandon Sorsby. Cincinnati has a top 20 offense. That's a dangerous game. Baylor and Kansas State, we're talking about that all morning here, so I'll skip that game, right? And I'm also going to skip right to Texas Tech in Houston. That is one that really has me interested. When you look at Texas Tech, right, they have played so well this year. That huge win against Utah, then they have a bye, and now they head to Houston, another undefeated team in the Big 12. Texas Tech's an 11.5-point favorite in that game. I find that to be a little too much, and this is not a segment about picks, but I always find the odds really inclusive in a lot of these segments because I think they give us information as to how the game will play out, or at least it's supposed to play out. And usually it's right. In this game, I think it could be wrong. I think we're looking past Willie Fritz and the impact that he has on his college football teams. In his second year, pretty much at every stop, I think really at every stop, he has been extremely effective and has been able to guide his teams to dynamite seasons, right? I think we may be witnessing another one here at Houston. I'm not saying they're going to win the game because I really do think that Texas Tech and their talent is overwhelming. And Texas Tech could be a team that we're talking about really late in the season. I think late in the college football playoff, actually. I think Texas Tech is that good. But I think Houston at home on Saturday night is going to show us why we need to be talking about them. And we should have been talking about them more this season and going forward. And I think getting that kind of garbage game where they escaped out of their system on the road is really good for this team. That is a sign, right, that it's bend, don't break so far this year. And I think we'll see a lot of Connor Wigman and Tanner Koziol on Saturday night. And I think that could keep them in the game against a feisty Texas Tech team that also is so full of talent. And one more thing I'll tell you as we head into this weekend about Texas Tech. Look for Will Hammond, right? Their backup quarterback who had a day against Utah. He's going to be their backup coming into this game. Baron Morton has cleared concussion protocol. But at the same time, I believe that the leash for Baron Morton will be pretty short. If you see Baron Morton struggle out of the gate, I don't think you'll have to wait too long to see Will Hammond. He played that good against Utah, and he is that good of a quarterback coming into this season and actually really coming into his college career. This is a guy that is a real good football player, and if Joey McGuire has to put him in the game, he will do so, okay? So, and you want more Big 12 content, by the way, you need to go to the Big 12's YouTube page. We actually interviewed Todd McShay this week about NFL prospects, and there are a lot of them. And some of the tight ends I want to tell you about right now that are playing in Saturdays and being effective right now for the Big 12 or at Big 12 schools that could be doing it on Sundays. I mentioned Tanner Koziel. How about Michael Trigg? And also, you can't forget about Joe Royer playing lights out in Cincinnati. There it is. You've got it all. Your Big 12 scoop of the week.
With Baylor players like Michael Trigg. Don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I agree. I do think he could play on Sundays and has that tight end shape for us, but I'd love to see him also get a little more active in today's game. Nice of Pete just to skip over the K-State Baylor game.
I like the presentation where he's like, we'll just skip that. Yeah, that the Trigg factor is enormous. And, you know, I've called him, and Scotty and I have kind of been at loggerheads over this because and Ben Sims was really good, but he's just not anywhere close to Trigg in what Trigg's able to do out there, and just a matchup nightmare. Now, some of this will be strength on strength today. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't want to get too behind enemy lines, but two of K-State's best players are those safeties. And I'll talk about them later, but they're going to try to commit some of their better players. In fact, you don't normally see people bracket a tight end.
Yeah.
It's possible that they could commit those kinds of resources to holding him down. What I love is the fact that over the years, Baylor, for the most part, K-State, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and then in other conferences, Iowa, have these unbelievable tight ends. And it's just fun when Baylor has one to match. And in the past, I even like the Dabney kid who went to TCU. I like Kelsey Johnson, who's still here.
Yeah.
But when you get one that nobody can cover, it's like an incredible feeling. And so I think that is something they're looking at big time. Now, one thing I wanted to mention was one thing that Pete talked about was Texas Tech at Houston. Texas Tech has done everything to create bad karma here. Their AD is, I don't know what their athletic director is doing. Kirby Hocutt has gone like pro wrestling. This is our place. This is West Texas. Houston's basically West Texas, which is not. And we're going to take over. This will be like a home game for us. Like, that's what your Barstool account's supposed to do. Or that's like what some of your fans are supposed to do.
Yeah.
You generally don't get that from your AD. We're going to, this is like a home game for us. Why in the world would you poke the bear, which is the cougar in this case? Why would you wake up Shasta? That's the live animal there that they used to have.
Thank you.
Why would you wake up Shasta, the cougar? And the scary thing is, and I would never have ever said this in a million years, Tech and Houston, both incredible defenses. And that's what's so weird about this game.
No, I agree. I think it'll be interesting of both of these teams, again, coming into their own. Tech is obviously super highly watched right now. Houston, I think they're kind of in the same boat as K-State of they're rumbling, they're doing some things. So we'll get more into Mosley's 3 keys to the game when we come back.
During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive into Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedic.
Welcome back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. Thank you for spending your morning with us. Matt has been itching to get to this one. Mosley's 3 keys to winning games at home. But first, thank you to Ascension Providence for being a sponsor for us. Now that I no longer have a team doctor, I'm having to figure out how to take care of my own health. They have been so helpful of making sure I'm well. Flu season, I'm sure, is about to roll around. So thank you to Ascension Providence for everything that you do and supporting Green and Gold Game Day Show. So, Matt, keys to winning games at home.
All right. And this was something I kind of rolled out. I kind of workshopped this over at Brazos Landing. Love Brazos Landing. And we were over there for a live show on Thursday with the Lindsay family. And this has been celebrated, and I would imagine passed around in the Baylor coaches' offices. Mosley's 3 keys to winning at home. I'd like to see a big graphic. I always like this. Scotty, I like kind of asking Scotty to do things on the fly.
Do you like your
I really
little...
would like
I like your Matt Mosley, the little like caricature thing
is
they
that
have
somewhere?
of you.
Okay.
It's not, but it was earlier. I like it.
It is a strange looking little Mosley, but that's appropriate. Mosley's 3 keys to playing better at home or winning at home. Because the thing is, we can whine all day. 1-9 in big games, 4-12 against Power 4 teams. But it's like, what are you going to do about it? We're going to blame it on the fans? Are there too many K-State fans here today? Like, you've got to come up with solutions. All right. What we're really good at in the media is just telling you what's all wrong, but we don't always provide solutions. And as somebody said to me, the Bears have won 9 of their last 12 games. Isn't that weird? Yeah. I mean, we don't think of it like that because they're only 3-2.
Yeah.
And then we go back and we get these stats from 2022 on. But okay, here are my 3 keys. Start fast. Okay, today is a throw the first punch. I mean, you have to throw it. You need to land it, and you need to let them know that, hey, our home crowd. We don't know how many of them are up there. We don't know what the Baylor line's looking like today, but we have brought our gold uniforms. And we've brought our own energy and start fast. How many times at home games do the Bears have to end up making a comeback in the third quarter or a frantic comeback at the end of the game? We act like some of these games were, oh, my gosh, they should have beaten Arizona State. Well, I guess. I mean, they had to be perfect in the fourth quarter because they had flopped around for a lot of that game, and then they got 2 drives at the end. Auburn, people want to say, well, that Auburn game was kind of close. Not really. They got beat by 2 touchdowns, and they were chasing throughout the game, and it felt like a miracle when they were within 1. So you don't play catch-up. You don't play catch-up at home. You don't want to do it on the road either, but you want to start fast and not put pressure on your team, and so start fast is a big part of this. Also, how about get some takeaways?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, I want to see constant punching of the football.
Okay.
When I see NFL, I'm seeing more and more. The old Peanut Punch, Peanut Tillman was his name, played for the Bears. and he was a puncher. He would come in there, and there's got to be more of that, and it can't just be against Samford. In fact, your plus minus when you play an FCS opponent should get thrown out in the stats. They should throw it out. You can't count those 3. If you don't count those 3, they're probably one of the worst plus minus turnover margin teams in the country. Now, there are good teams that are bad turnover margin teams. It's extremely rare, though. OU happens to be one of those teams right now that, for whatever reason, is bad in turnover margin. The Bears have to get better, and I think today they need to win it, and they need to win that turnover margin by 2. All right, at least finish +1 today for the Bears, and so I think that's very, very important. And then I mentioned this earlier. Tempo. And get back to that. Apparently, they're ranked as one of the top tempo teams in the country, although it doesn't always feel like that. When we're at the end of when we're in a 2-minute offense situation in the NFL and they go racing down the field, you're always saying to yourself, right? The common fan says, why don't they do that more often? Why don't they play faster? Well, teams, especially at the NFL level, don't want to do that the whole game. In the past, from 2008 to 2015 seasons, they did that down after down after down. And why were they so successful at scoring in the red zone? Part of the reason is they never gave teams a chance to set up.
Yeah.
So
the no-huddle offense with Art Briles.
Yeah.
It's fast.
Saban used to complain, and he hated the Briles approach, and he hated some of the spread, and he hated the air raid, and because he did not like that many plays, and he was a defensive coach until he wasn't. Yeah. Until he finally, he'll always be a defensive coach. But what he finally did is he's like, give me Sark, give me Lane Kiffin, give me the guys who know how to do this, because that's my only way forward, and that's my only way to stay relevant. In this day and age, with a great quarterback, and Baylor has a really good wide receiver core, and they got a great running back. Why in the world wouldn't you accentuate that by getting up to the line of scrimmage, getting there? They are in some respects, but it's still only they run a play every 22 seconds. Just to give you an example, like a team like Army or even K-State or somebody that likes to drag it out, they run it within 28 or 29 seconds. So that sounds like that it's a big deal.
No, a huge deal.
7 seconds a play. So I think that would be good. And part of that would be let's not feel the need to substitute all the time, because as you saw, that was a point of contention late in that Arizona State game when you're needing to go, and you're in 2-minute offense. And guys are able to trudge off the field. That's annoying, and that's something that can be avoided. And you are going to try to take the top off at some point today of their defense. You are going to try to have some shot plays, but let Sawyer do his thing. Maybe he could even run a little bit. But I think a winning formula today would be Sawyer. Let's give him 2 touchdown throws, 245 yards passing, and he goes about 18 for 23.
Okay.
I think it's doable. I think they have the big play talent to pull it off, but this thought of he's got to go for 400. That's not necessarily. He did it against Auburn. They lost. Did it against Arizona State, put up big numbers. They lost that game. Had a miracle comeback against SMU. They're down 2 scores late, and he brings them back in that one. You're putting too much on your quarterback.
Yeah.
So Spavital needs to know okay, we've had so much success in the past running. And by the way, at Cal, Berkeley, where he came from, they had incredible running backs. I've seen them go out across the country. All of them transfer out usually.
Right.
But he had really good players, and he had a quarterback. By the way, he's the guy at Indiana right now.
Yes, yeah.
Mendoza. So
let me ask you this. Do you think having tempo and speed in this game is attainable to have both of those at the same time in this game? Just of the consistency and these guys are going to get tired. I feel like this is going to be a game of you're going to see some players being exhausted. Do you think you're able to have both in this game?
Yeah, I sure hope so. I no, but I mean, I hope
like,
I hope
genuinely,
they're
you know?
in shape enough and have played in the heat, maybe more than K-State. K-State kind of thinks it has, and they had a somewhat warm game they're coming off of,
Apparently it
but
was
they know
brutal.
today is going to get up maybe in the 90s,
Yeah.
and there'll be some heat on that field. No, I don't think you can. I mean, that's why you recruit like you do.
Yeah.
That's why you bring in all these wide receivers. That's why I was kind of surprised that Lewis Brown, the fourth or junior, was they sat him down. So we'll wait for next year. I think that's why you bring on. I mean, K-State, it's one thing they did last week that I kind of admired. They started rotating O-linemen, and they got some of those freshmen in there. And of course, you have to live with some of the mistakes. Baylor has some of that. Baylor has some position flex, and they have some young freshmen who are kind of trying to break into the lineup and everything. And by the way, Baylor has a couple of linemen that I saw on that injury list, and that's something to the one I would worry most about is Fugar.
Yeah, Sydney.
And I saw him on that list. I mean, they got it. It's got to be all hands on deck. But they're about to start needing some of these freshmen, and I think the more folks they can get involved in this game, and that's all three running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You got three dudes who can play.
Yeah.
And so run Bryson and then give him a series. Give Caden a series.
Yeah.
That seems like how they like to do it. I wouldn't mind seeing them kind of come in and out with guys a little more
I think they
than
will.
they do. Yeah.
Because that was their intent with Dawson. I think we all
Correct.
forget that Dawson Pendergrass, I think having three of those guys is what makes me, I'm like, oh, I wish you could tell time of, I wish Richard Reese would have stayed. Suck it up maybe for a year, kind of ride it out. And then now you're here because you have an injury and he's still here. So then you have three guys you're able just to rotate in and out. It's interesting you talk about the O-line of K-State changing. A lot of people were not happy about that K-State wise, just media. We're like, can we just be consistent? Can we just have everyone stay still? So we'll see if that holds true today. But when we come back, we will be going into hour 3. Ryan McGuire will be joining us soon. Thank you for staying with us this morning.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge.
Yes?
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you to KWTX for listening and following along with us as we get ready for this Baylor K-State football game this morning. 11 a.m. kick, getting closer and closer. We're going to go ahead and check our Hour 2 fan poll. Who will make the biggest impact for Baylor today? Caden Knighton.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Matt, I won this one.
I think you led them down that path. I think a lot of them are like, Williford, what? Caleb Burns, that's an injury situation that we're kind of watching, and we'll be able to kind of get a hold and let you know about that list that they put out before the game. And then Michael Turner. So 2 running backs, and I like that. I like Caden Knight. And I like the speed, and I like the fact that early on in the season, and young backs do this, he had a little success on one play, bouncing it outside. And so then he starts to maybe do that a little too often. But I think he's going to be fine. He's running between the tackles a little bit more. And he's just, when you have a change of pace back, it used to be Squirrel. They would have when yes. Dominique and they had some change of pace backs over the years. This guy is one. And I'm not saying he's faster than Bryson. He's just different. He's a little shiftier perhaps or something. But he does give them a little burst. And it's good to give the defense as many looks as you can. And then let Michael Turner lean on him a little bit. Michael's going to get bigger, going to get stronger. And I like what he brings to the table. I really do.
I agree. Talking a little bit about drives a little bit today. Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. That means huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas, from powerful Ram trucks and adventure-ready Jeeps and new Dodges. I just got rid of my Jeep, which I was so sad about. But they have the right ride for you. Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Come by and let's be friends.
That's good. And Ted Teague over there, I'm so excited. They're on the Mosley show. They're with the Green and Gold, and we are so grateful to have them, and they've been incredible for a lot of years. Now, we got big time in hour 3 of our pregame show. I mean, we have Ryan McGuire on set, and very, very excited about that. And, they've been really, really good. They're a ranked team, and then they got a road trip coming up next week that's going to – there's a lot ahead of them. Yeah.
Big road trip from the next week. Arizona State, Arizona.
Yes.
I've never played there, which is interesting. I was kind of sad not to get in on that road trip just because that's a fun spot to go to. But Arizona State, again, highly ranked in the Big 12. Big 12 volleyball is competitive this year, so excited to get to talk to Ryan McGuire. Obviously, now has become a friend for me, my former coach, but excited to get to talk to him soon.
He still could end up making you run some lines or some conditioning or something along those lines. Yeah.
I would hope not.
Out here. But I bet he's hoping you could run over and talk to some of the recruits. I bet you would be great. I heard from Scott Drew always says, and I'm sure Ryan would agree with this, they say their current players are always their best recruiters. I know the basketball, the men's team, they just basically turn the recruits over to those guys. Y'all go hang out. Y'all go get some shots up. Go do that. And I'm sure that's what it was like when y'all had recruits come to town.
Absolutely.
It's like, go hang out with Faith. Just don't hang out too late.
No, we would always go axe throwing or take them to main event. Or I think that's a big thing in recruiting is you see all the social media, talk to the coaches, but you want to actually talk to the girls of hey, be real with me. How does this actually go? What's going on here? And that's the thing that I loved about Baylor volleyball is they said, hey, we have recruits in town. And then we didn't have to say anything perfectly, whatever, just did our thing. And I had a pretty good record, not going to lie. I had a pretty good record.
Your recruiting record
was pretty good.
Yeah,
so.
I don't doubt it. I think you could deliver some good messages there. So Ryan McGuire coming up. And so that will be fun. And then we'll go behind in hour number 3, we will go behind enemy lines.
Yes.
And I almost feel over prepared for this. I'm going to actually take some of my notes and discard them
The manila pad.
Yeah, there's almost too much film that I've watched for these segments. You know, I feel like I've overdone it, so I'll be getting rid of some of that. But that'll be fun. We'll go behind enemy lines because this is not just a huge game for Baylor, but I'll tell you why it's so big for K-State as well.
Awesome. Make sure you stay with us. When we come back, Ryan McGuire and Behind Enemy Lines, 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. Thank you for spending your morning with us. Happy to be here. Great vibes. Thank you to our sponsor, Mission Golf Course, Mission Golf Cars, located in Waco, off the loop.
Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
I'm Cole Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Welcome back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. We have Ryan McGuire joining us, but before we get started, we're going to go ahead and launch our Hour 3 fan poll. How do you feel about the gold uniforms today at the Gold Out?
That's the poll. I was waiting for it
That
to appear there. I like that Coach McGuire has
I'm here to
gone
represent.
with the gold. I just could not find any gold in my closet, and plus I have to be in the press box, and so I don't know. I have to kind of at least appear impartial when I go up there, but the gold is a good look. What do you think? I'm kind of curious too, Ryan. Have we truly given him the proper introduction yet?
No, we have not.
Okay.
I jumped straight into it.
The fan poll. Yeah, I was just sitting here. We have one of the great volleyball coaches in the country, Ryan McGuire, with us. You see him on national TV. You've heard him on the Mosley Show over the years. Ryan, I don't know if you've seen, I'm now on a YouTube show. I'm going to have to kind of give you a link so you can follow that. But how cool is it to be here for Gold Out and then to be doing this with someone who played for you? That's got to be neat because you see some of your players go on to do really neat things. Now, I don't know if co-hosting with Mosley is what you envision for Faith, but this is a pretty cool moment, I would think.
You know, when we were recruiting Faith to play at Baylor, she said her dream job was to work with you. So that was, I think, what sold her on Baylor was that opportunity. No, huge joy to my heart to see our athletes and our alumni do it. Like Faith, like no surprise. It's always fun to be around Faith because she brings encouragement to me. That's who she was on the court as a leader, as a great athlete, just the growth and everything. So it's it's fun. As I get to talk life, I get to talk volleyball with you and friends, the people that also know the inside scoop too, and not just, looking at it from the outside.
Okay. So, we'll get last night out of the way. It was, these games, that's the thing about this conference. I wondered what it would be like. You bring some of the new teams in, you got this big road trip coming up. there's never any let up, is there? It just seems like everybody seems to be ranked. Every time I look, I'm like, okay, this is 15 versus 18. Jayhawks come in last night. I think the upside to that is I think y'all showed a lot of courage and fight, right? Because there was one of those, that did not go as well, and then you bounce back and force that fifth set. And I thought there were probably some good things that came out of it.
Yeah, conference is a juggernaut for sure. Everybody's good. We saw a lot of ranked teams in conference lose also last night and last week. Kansas extremely good. Unfortunately, we super tight fifth set loss to them, and they've played some other teams and had their tight losses in the fifth set. Started off strong, and then it's I felt like it was a matter of time because we got 3 freshmen as our primary passers out there. Like never ever done that before. We have great bros and Briseño and Chanel, the liberos of the year in the conference and stuff. Like even them as their freshman year kind of challenge. So I love what we're doing at the libero position, moving through it. I thought our pins had an up and down night. It was great to see them recover though when things weren't going well to really try and finish strong. I thought we finished strong, but a couple bounces, let's serve didn't go our way there.
All right, I'm trying to watch more this season, and not just y'all. I'm watching, and I like when they can go to review. I like some of that. I like that you kind of have a challenge and it's kind of added more to the game and everything. It does seem like more and more people are being drawn to women's athletics. I see huge crowds. Not only, Nebraska comes to mind for, some enormous crowd they had. Maybe they play an outdoor game or something at one point.
They filled a stadium at over 90,000.
Yeah.
So 90,000
Yeah. So it's just cool because you've loved it in faith, grew up on it, and y'all have loved it forever. But it's got to be kind of neat when you realize more eyes are getting on it. And I think probably part of that is y'all have such a competitive conference, and they're choosing y'all for some of these national TV and more TV opportunities.
Yeah, I think women's sports is blowing up across all the sports. Volleyball, #1 female team sport in the country. It's been that way the last 5-6 years. But I think the game itself, as people are watching it, it's so fast paced, it's powerful, it's beautiful. There's skill, there's touches, and the strategy involved. There's heart, there's energy that you can get excited about. There's momentum changes, and then there's some tactical things. So whatever you're a fan of when you watch sports, you get all of that in volleyball, I think.
Yeah, Faith, I generally try to reach out to him and give him hints on who I've seen in high school, and he's so gracious. He's like, "Oh, well, keep an eye on that," kind of like Mosley. Just stay in your lane, please. But I'm always seeing somebody from Prosper.
There's no lanes here. It is competitive because it only takes one kid to make it special. Faith brought some things to our program that made it really special. So you don't know. We got players from Belarus, from Cameroon, from right here in Texas, California. So you never know when that next one's there. So we genuinely do look at them right there. When you talk blocking strategy, then maybe I'll forward that on to somebody else.
My favorite thing to always bring up with him, Faith, was I always wanted to know. I was just vertical leap, and of course in volleyball you use a different metric, or you say this, and so whoever y'all had a few years ago that was just out of the. It was just unbelievable.
Well, Tori Davis
Tori's on her team.
Is
she's up there at 10-9, getting up close to 11 feet. So
that's dunking. That's dunking territory. Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. All right, Faith, you can get into some strategy. I want some deep stuff right here, some deep cuts.
No, I think you talk about Morgan Madison and having some of those freshmen, Bailey Warren, kind of step up. Talk about the outside position a little bit. And last night, who do you think is going to be consistent for y'all this year, and who are you more wanting to see stay in that role?
I want to see the best one pull away so they make it really clear and obvious. I have enjoyed the consistency as far as how that group's battled. Unfortunately, we have 5 outsides, which you might think, hey, that's just enough. But one's been out concussion protocol, one had surgery. So suddenly now you're quickly at 3. So there's one person off the bench, and we've done them all. Brielle's come in and helped us win matches. Brielle started, and then Bailey's come in and helped us win. I think Kasusha is really coming around, and also freshmen adapting and feeling more comfortable out there. Bailey's taking over some matches for us as well. in a match like last night when there's adjustments being made, I feel like, hey, if we win the first set, then we did our job being prepared to travel well, show what's going on. That's where we need to continue to grow. Hey, here's the adjustments. They're taking this away. How quickly can you go to this? And then for them to feel comfortable on it because they haven't had years of practice of it, but we're really talking about weeks. And I think, they are doing the right things. Last night, I think they defaulted to what's comfortable a little bit. Hey, there's no reward without some of these risks to play through it and go in and do that. So we didn't do that in the middle. We did that towards the end. And then, suddenly Bailey's hitting over the top of the block in the deep corners. And, I think all these kids coming out of club want to like bounce it straight down. And that's the fun, flashy, like, wow, kind of play. But sometimes you got to just make the layup instead of the reverse dunk to get your 2 points and on that. So
absolutely. You are known for, I don't know if anyone else knows this, but you are known for just trying things and let's put on 6 girls and not have a setter on the court, or let's just switch block. I saw a little bit against Houston of having our middles go towards the right side and blocking and switching. Do the girls respond well to that? What is maybe your thought process? Because it's been a lot more consistent for y'all this year of having Tehani go in and set a ball and not have a setter on the court. What is the process behind that?
One, there's a great trust in Tehani. Who she has been this year has been absolutely phenomenal. And her growth, she kind of went from the goofy player, fun, like all TikToks, to sophomore year, like, hey, let's like be good at your skills, to now like leader, motivator, developer, still goofy, still fun on TikTok, still great at the skills, but have an influence. So no, you want to put the 6 best on the court, play to win. So yeah, when we put in somebody for maybe Harley if she wasn't blocking well, all right, honey, you got to set, and it's a play. It's a boop, like you don't see that. And I've been talking about that, for a long time.
Year,
and I'm like, which one of our ninjas? That's what we call our defensive specialists is going to be like brave enough to actually do it. Like T didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
First time, boom, Tori kills it. Second time, boom, Tori kills it. Now it's kind of like, all right, like people know that's what you're doing on it, but we love it. It works. Tori can elevate. It's different. I think in all sports, you want to do things in your gym that other teams aren't mimicking or doing. So the only time they get to see it is in the matches. And so, I like to be creative. Tori blocked some right side the other day, out of the middle and those things, but it's whatever it takes to win.
Are you ever on TikTok? Can they ever get you involved in that?
No, I might probably be the last coach without a big, strong social media presence. My son's involved. The team's good. I want to be present where I'm at. That might be where I got to get more uncomfortable. I made a Tic-Tac video, but that's about it. I know.
I have seen the TikTok video. It was on our practice.
They were really encouraging me. Hey, this will be my first TikTok video because I mess up all the social media language all the time. So they're really excited that I made one, and then it was
like, oh, he made a TikTok, and then it was a video of him holding TikToks. It was like, what are we doing?
It was him doing a dad joke.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's
100%
big dad joke guy.
Now, road trip coming up.
Yeah,
and I would think
big one.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. I think you function well in that part of the country. You like being on the West Coast. You've spent time there, in the past. What about these two teams? What kind of what are these matchups going to be like?
These matchups are huge. Arizona State's the one remaining undefeated team in the conference. So, like a win there, keeps us. We're still in the driver's seat as far as winning the Big 12, and they got to play some other good teams still. Arizona's been really, really good. I thought made the biggest improvement last year, and they're continuing to improve. On the road, like I enjoy traveling because we enjoy it. It's our conference is unique because it's midweek games too, so it's not wait till the weekend. Like we're gonna get practice in Monday and take off again on Tuesday, and we're gone the rest of the week. But when you travel, you get to kind of control their schedules. You get to spend a little bit more time together. They're studying, and I feel like we'll be able to walk through hopefully what we need to do to get 2 W's on the road.
All right, I was with Faith last weekend. We were doing, and she was getting ready to go to something with y'all. TCU. Yeah, that was a good win. I mean, it's always fun to take down the Frogs.
Everybody loves beating TCU. That's something we want to keep going across all sports. And I love the coaching staff there because Jason, former coach here, but that's probably about all I love about TCU after after that on that one. They're a juggernaut. They're really good. They only got the one loss to us. They were able to beat Kansas. So again, it's just a whirlpool of everything going in here. Our crowds have been great last couple matches and really kind of helped us push through.
Do you have thoughts on Baylor K-State as we get ready? Gold out. You'll go over here. You got some recruits in town. Always exciting. I think some of these young women have made commitments to Baylor already. Y'all will head over for the game, I would assume,
Yeah.
although you've got a lot on your plate and practices and all those things. But any thoughts on what Sawyer and the Bears need to do? I mean, we've had Mosley's keys to winning at home, and I hate that you missed that. In fact, I bet at the tailgate y'all had this on. You can just lie and say that you did. But any of Coach McGuire's keys to the Bears winning? Because this would be a huge win for Baylor.
Yeah, a huge win for us. Continue momentum. I coached football 5 years, and I like you have offered Aranda my playbooks from when I did junior high flag football, but I'm not sure if he's implemented any of those yet. But he's doing a great job with the team. There. Clearly for us, it's we can't have the turnovers. Quick start. Like we just got to manage the ball there. I think as all of our games go, like we're always getting better. We're being stronger. So I think a strong start without the turnovers absolutely key for us today.
I like what you brought up, Faith, that he's got this devil-may-care attitude because he's a very conventional coach in some ways, and he keeps it between the lines. But then sometimes it's like, let's try some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get out there. I mean, you're going to see Kansas State, by the way. They snuck in last week. I didn't miss it, but they snuck in a little Wildcat package.
Yeah.
And that sounds like something you might put out there, some sort of special package.
Like I said, like for all sports, you want to maximize your strengths. You want to go after opponents' weaknesses. But if you can do something that the other team's not prepared for, that should give you advantage if you can execute it. But Dave and the staff, they got a sharp mind in that. So it's Baylor's for sure prepared for whatever's thrown at them.
Do you ever have do you care at all like about y'all's what color uniform y'all have? Baylor people obsess about like football uniforms.
Yeah.
Anthracite or whatever that, I think that's dark, and gold today with the green helmet. Is there anybody that's a part of y'all's program that thinks about that and comes up with that? Or do the girls the young women seem to perform better in certain colors ever, or like one uniform over the other?
Yeah, personally, I don't care about it. I think visualization still is really important to the sport. So I want to be able to, like, hey, when I play, when we do like visualize, hey, what am I wearing? What do I look like in how I do it? So I rely on my staff. Like, hey, you tell me what I need to wear to the game, and I'll put that on and go do it. For our athletes, like, we want to know one way to play. So like, it's not about what's on us; it's about what's in us that's going to determine how we play. And so I do probably try and squash any thoughts like I don't believe in luck or different things like that. Like, oh, we play better in green or these knee pads or something there. Like, no, we're going to be good at what we do. We want to do that every day. So, if we got to put them in an ugly practice shirt so they can overcome that, we, haven't had to do that forever. We do something like that. At the end of the day, like these women, when they look good, like they're going to feel good and they're normally going to play good. So there is a mindfulness of like, okay, let's make sure the fit's good and we like what we're doing.
I never liked to wear the gold jersey.
Was that right?
And I knew they didn't like that, but I didn't ever want to openly address it. Those are there, so take it out on the opponent. Don't go there. But everyone's different. Like Manu's she's popping in gold. She likes it and like doing that. So it's hey, think about it as a sacrifice and go. But.
Was Faith always had like? She's always smiling and has such a wonderful disposition. When she took the court, I mean, was it a transformation? I mean, I'm sure she was encouraging to her teammates, but it's not always easy to be as kind and generous as some of the girls are. And then, how do you manage that? And what are you like on the court? What was it like for Faith?
For Faith, what was so great was also her growth. Her faithfulness from the start, like she came in coming off an injury, like she didn't get significant playing time. Even some roles were tough early years, but she grew to be like an essential, mama bear, team leader. And so, like always encouraging. That was always who she was, but she saw the game with a great IQ. But like senior year, she had a good growl to her too. Like sometimes you got to growl. We talk about like confidence is, like a Doberman has a growl versus a poodle that's just yapping all the time. Like she was never just yapping, but she kind of brought a thicker growl to the team where the girls really listened to her. And again, she's not 6'7", she's Faith. So it's not like there's this domineering presence, but like, so that to me was just so impressive, and we could really lean into it. And she said the right things at the right time whenever we needed it.
Well, she's always saying the right things.
So
on
you
here.
guys should keep listening to her. She's full of wisdom, and
and
I'm glad she's able to carry you and help you along. On
so much, we are, and I'm excited about y'all's upcoming games, and I'm always looking ahead to see what the TV schedule and what I can take in and all that. And so if we can ever help you, like get even more fans out there, get the fan support up, you just say the word, okay?
Encourage them to come, and you have been spectacular. So I love listening to you. It's a little harder to watch the YouTube video on the drive home.
Because my hair or something.
We'll see what we can do. And I just got to change my routine a little bit too to catch it more.
I know. The coaches have let me know. We'll do it. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Let's
sick 'em Bears in this game here.
Let's do it.
Let's win.
All right.
There he is, Ryan McGuire, and it is man, great to have him on the Green and Gold Game Day show. We got a lot more, Faith. We got to go behind enemy lines.
You're ready. You're over prepared.
I don't think Ryan wants to leave. I really don't. Because some of this information really, I think some of the coaches will be gathering around. So that's what we'll do. We'll do some enemy lines, and we'll do that next on the Green and Gold Game Day.
Rolls along with Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Alan Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At GameFinfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
welcome back to the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. That was so fun to have on Coach Mack. It's one of those things now that I'm post-athlete of I get to actually interview him for a job now. So that was really fun for me. Thanks, Matt, for making that happen. But want to thank Mission Golf Cars located in Waco off of Loop 340. Is your one-stop shop for all golf cart needs, from sales to service, parts, rentals, even to leasing. Stop by and say hello to Stephen Kling and the crew and tell them Matt Mosley in the Green and Gold Game Day Show sent you to receive $500 off your next new car purchase. Mission Golf Cars in Waco. Check them out at missiongolfcars.com. That's pretty sick. Nice little treat for hanging out with us in the mornings. Green and Gold Game Day Show.
Yeah, and man, those things are so popular, and from what I can tell, that's the place to do it and get it in all of Central Texas, and even people we spend a lot of time in Salado, and everybody down there has the they call it golf car. I still go golf carts, but I'll call it whatever Mission wants me to call it. But those are because you can get them as fancy as you want, but I mean, do take advantage of that. Mentioning the Mosley show or the Green and Gold show. Or $500 off. So that is exciting. All right.
That's awesome. We're going to go ahead and launch our hour. Oh, we did launch our hour 3. yeah, we already did that. You know what? It's okay. Make sure you interact with us on our hour 3 poll. If you love them, if you like them, can't stand them, or it's just meh. Those are our options for our poll.
Yeah, that's good. And so we do have Behind Enemy Lines coming up soon. Yes. And there's as I am feeling better about things because more and more people are walking up. And I thought, oh my gosh, they've had trouble at home. They've had these 2 losses at home in big games. It's an 11 a.m. start. What's the crowd going to be like? I'm starting to sense more and more people out here, and no matter what it is, and no matter how many of the Baylor line kids are there today, and I bet they'll show up big. It just needs to be loud. They need to be active, and this needs to be a game where none of that matters. Though this needs to be a game where the team says we're bringing our energy to the game, because that's what the coach said about K-State. That's the whole thing of what happened in Manhattan last week. They're only 2-3. I mean, when it's your team and your team that we cover is 3-2, and you don't know where the season's heading, you think you're the only team experiencing that, and then you realize, well, there's about 100 other teams that are in the same boat. And K-State comes in here a desperate team, desperately needing to get their season going in the right direction, and they got good fans, and that is another thing that's starting to worry me. I'm seeing some throwback Darren Sproles jerseys.
Oh, geez.
I am. Yeah, there's one, 43. That's who that is. These people show up. So it'll be a good crowd for K-State. Hopefully the Bears fans can't drown them out today.
I think you said it earlier. It's not up to the fans today. Go play some ball.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's not the Baylor fans' fault they don't show up, but we do expect you to be there. But thank you so much for tuning into us on KWTX today. Matt has been hyping up this Behind the Enemy Lines. We have Bryce Petty coming up as well. Bear Essentials that you're going to want to stay tuned to. So stick with us on our YouTube show. Make sure you follow over to that. Click on the link. It's somewhere. It's out there. Make sure you hang out with us. But thank you to KWTX and joining us this morning. I'm Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley, Green and Gold Game Day Show. Thank you for spending your morning with us. Matt.
National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball. We didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge.
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out GatherCoRemodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast, coming to you from the Star in the players' meeting room with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus.
You now have two responsibilities this year that you didn't have last year, and that's being a first-time head coach and calling plays for Dak Prescott for the first time. But now we're doing something that we do annually. We get Stephen Jones's perspective on this football team and how it was built and what expectations should be.
Drive in the fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
And Gold Game Day Show 365 Sports. Thank you for continuing to watch with us and switching over from KWTX to our YouTube show. Glad you're here. And we finally get to Behind the Enemy Lines with Matt Mosley. This should just be a extension of Matt Mosley's mind. It's
a scary place. Mosley's mind. It is time to go behind enemy lines. We're going to hear from the voice of the Cats, the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, and he's got some thoughts on some things. But first, let's talk. Let's talk about, I've been looking, and again, as I said, extensive notes. This is going to be interesting how they deploy their players. I think they learned early this season, man, they needed to create more depth. And they got exposed early because they got Dylan Edwards hurt, and then they got their top receiver hurt at one point. And there were weird things happening throughout the season in terms of like who was coming, who was going. I think they came back from that Dublin trip, which, by the way, if I'm Baylor, I'm not signing up for that.
Doing that.
No, because the teams that lose that game tend to then lose about two more games in quick order. And so K-State's 2-3. I don't think we can blame it completely on going over there, but the winning team didn't seem to affect them. Iowa State's okay. Got a big road game today. Iowa State, I believe, is in Cincinnati. And we'll be talking about that as we get closer to kickoff. Man, I'm excited. K-State in town, and we are getting very close to kickoff. But I'm just glad to be with our YouTubers now.
Yes,
I mean, there's such a good crew and such a good audience. Dylan Edwards is this running back. You talked about him. He's known Avery Johnson, their quarterback, forever. They were in grade school together. They played. They came up in Wichita, Kansas, and they're both fine players. It's just Dylan Edwards been banged up, and also Jace Brown, their wide receiver, has been banged up. Now, let me tell you, I was listening to a K-State game over this past weekend, and I heard a name that I've heard for years when it comes to K-State. I heard the last name Lockett. This goes way back. Kevin Lockett. There's been all these Locketts, and they've all been really good players at K-State. And so I'll have to look again today. Okay, what Lockett is this? But I think this would I think we're going on about the third generation of Lockett's there. But when it comes to game-breaking wide receivers, this Jace Brown, 25 catches, 284 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But unlike some of these other K-State teams, which had one possession receiver and one home run hitter, this team seems to have a lot of different receivers that Avery Johnson can throw to. And much like we've begged Sawyer Robertson, like, hey, why don't you run? Why don't you, when you have a first down and you've got all the speed, why don't you run? They've kind of gone through that with Avery Johnson, knowing it going into the season that he's a huge runner, and other teams, either they didn't run him enough or they stopped him, to the point where K-State has had to install a package with a backup running back to try to get more out of their offense. That's a weird thing to have to do when you think you mentioned that he might have even been mentioned in Heisman conversations to start the season. Certainly not now, but he's still dangerous.
Yeah.
He's still very dangerous. So when I'm going behind enemy lines, I'm thinking about him, I'm thinking about his backup, and I'm thinking about your guy, Dylan Edwards. And this is, like, I had to laugh this week, and all coaches do it. So Kleiman's not unlike any other coach, but Kleiman said something to the effect of Baylor, this is a fabulous tackling team. And I was like, whoa, what's Coach Kleiman? Did he get some hidden tape? Is he watching? Did he get some practice tape?
Yeah.
Because if you watch the games,
it's not what's happening.
No, you're not seeing the tackling. And so I think he was kind of trying to build the Bears up a little bit. This is two very opposing desires in this game. One team desiring to grind it out, run the ball, extend drives, keep their defense off the field. That is K-State. Baylor wants to go up and down the field. Baylor wants to play with tempo. They want to put pressure on K-State, and they can do that in a variety of ways, including the person Caden Knight, who you brought up, and I think won our poll for the emerging player that's going to get the most time, that's going to get or make the biggest impact, which I think about 48% of our audience went with Caden Knight. So anyway, that just takes you a little bit behind. And then I know we'll get to Wyatt Thompson. But any thoughts, Faith, in terms of the Baylor defense? To me, I think we're at a point in the season where forget it. Like, they are what we think they are. Like, go out. I mean, I'd love to see them get a takeaway or do something, but I think you have to go. The offense has 35 points a game, and that's the way it has to be. I mean, we can't be here 3 weeks from now still beating our heads against the desk. We need more takeaways. The defense needs a pass rush. It's just not a very good defense, and you need to make the best of it, kind of like they used to back in the day.
Here's like what I feel like I've kind of come to terms with. Of you have Jackie Marshall, who he's your guy. Like, he is your defensive guy. He gets hurt the first game of the season against Auburn. And so you get punched in the mouth. Everyone has planned until you get punched in the mouth. And so I feel like our punch in the mouth was Jackie Marshall getting injured. And I don't think he's back to his full healthy self at all. And so I truly feel like he was the core and center of that defensive guy. You have guys like Sidney Fugar who is apparently on this injury watch list game today. Like, you have this defensive line who together and healthy we're working and we're okay. But Jackie Marshall being hurt, Sidney Fugar being questionable, you have your main guys starting to trickle away. You've been dealt the injury bug on the defensive side. So here we are, like, defense be better. But are your second string guys that are going in maybe playing for the first time? And so they're not comfortable. They're not in their own, hey, I'm playing Big 12 college football for the first time, and I'm expected to just play this lights out defense. So I don't think that's happening yet. Not saying it won't. It won't. You can see it this game. But Jackie Marshall, hopefully he is continuing to get healthy and continue to get better. But I don't think Baylor's at its best. Also, I don't think Baylor has peaked yet. I think each game we start to see a progression of getting better and getting better. I will forever quote Coach Mack just because his coaching philosophies, I think, apply to a lot of different things in life and at the college football level. But you don't want to peak now. You don't want to be playing your best football now. You want to be playing your best football, I think, towards the end of the season, getting more to bowl game. And then hopefully we're in the college football playoff conversation. That would also be great. But you don't want to peak now. And so I think Baylor, each game is getting closer and closer and closer to having a complete product. I don't want to see Sawyer Robertson playing his best football right now, because if he's peaking now, that's not what we need. He's going to get burnt out. So I will be very curious to see how this defense responds collectively as a whole unit today.
Maybe Sawyer will not quite have with this running game, and maybe a takeaway on defense could take some pressure.
Maybe today's that day where we get to see it.
All right,
together.
let's take a peek. The voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, stopped by this week, and so I'd like to hear his take on Dylan Edwards and this Kansas State offense.
Sawyer Robertson go through the grind to reach who he is today. Like the football experience and moxie and confidence meeting the skill set. How does Kansas State's defensive backfield work to stop him on Saturday, in your opinion?
You know what? I don't want to sound like a coach, but to me, it starts with their run game, because they do have a good run game. Bryson Washington's really good, but I also like the other guys that they use. Bryson's big time. Think how good they would be if they had Pendergrass too. Yeah. That was a tough injury for them. But if they run the ball, and because of, and you described Sawyer's abilities well, he's got all the arm talent and the talent around him in the world. But when you really watch him, you never see him get stressed, even in stressful plays. He just kind of extends it a little bit and works his way, and he's got enough guys around him. I mean, think about this. You lose the kind of guys that they have. You still have Cole Wilson. You have Cameron. I mean, you just get – and how about Michael Trigg? I mean, seriously, in a league chock full of great tight ends, he may be as good as anybody I've seen. So they've surrounded a really good quarterback with a lot of good talent, but I don't know how you can watch him and not be impressed. He is really, really good.
He is so good, and I think he is like that equalizer in a sense where just when you think you've stopped the running game and the passing game, and then you got Michael Trigg right down the seam for a huge game, and then God knows what happens after he catches the ball. When you talk about the Kansas State defense, Chris Kleiman, in no uncertain terms, said, "Hey, we got to keep them off the field."
Yeah,
because you can't have them on the field for 90 plays. That is not a recipe for success. How does Kansas State get off the field against Baylor?
Well, that's going to be it. I mean, let's be honest. You have to slow down the run game some to put more pressure on Sawyer, even though he handles that pressure most of the time. K-State has really struggled defensively this year, even back to last Saturday with big plays. You got to clean that up a little bit. But it's even more than that. I think one of the real key factors here is you better have good efforts on first down, because if you get them in second and third and short, you are going to be on the field all day long. Army is the perfect game that's the example of that. Think about this, Pete. K-State had the ball for less than 2 minutes in the third quarter of that home game and had it less than 90 seconds in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
I've done a lot of games in my lifetime. I've never seen anything quite like that. I mean, the plays were like 85 to 45. It was nuts. So you better compete. You better get some. That's the one good thing that K-State can do, if they can slow the run game even a little bit, is they've got a lot of guys that can rush the quarterback. But the other side of that is Sawyer's so good at getting rid of it quickly. And when you've got Wilson and Cameron and Brown and all of those kind of guys, and I'm leaving out a couple, of course, you got to get there quick, but you got to keep them no big plays. And that's almost impossible to do against those guys. You're going to give up some yards. You just hope it isn't. I mean, think about it. They've been in the 600-yard range twice in 5 games. And I think the least that he's thrown for is about 250, and that was against Samford in a blowout game.
Yeah.
He would have had 600 against them had he played the whole day, right? So you got to give them their due. The best thing to do, again, I don't want to sound like a coach. If you're
I asked the question, so go ahead. Get that whistle around your neck. I asked you.
If you're going to win in Waco, you do it by possessing the ball longer than them, and that's just one hope, right?
Yeah.
You got to do that, or at least be in the neighborhood.
great insight from some of Pete Souza's show this week that he will be calling the game for ESPN.
Nice,
so
yeah.
pumped for him, and it's a great opportunity. So once you leave our segment, make sure you go and run over and catch the game and see what Pete Souza has to say for on-air stuff today.
Yeah, that'll be good. And Pete, I do want to bring some breaking news to the show, and we need to kind of monitor this, but they are. It is being reported from the game day update, which both teams have to provide, that a game time decision, and they don't always say that about players, but Bryson Washington is a game time decision, and that's huge. I mean, that's a big part of what the Bears need to do, and so we'll continue to monitor that. But boy, it may be Caden Knight all the time.
Which would be awesome. I mean, what a better opportunity for him. And we've been talking about him this morning with Dylan Edwards and everything going on with that. But that is not good news for the Bears. May see Trigg have to step up in a couple other ways today for just some offensive things. Josh Cameron again. He's been progressing well, kind of had an off game against we play at home last.
Yeah, Arizona State.
He did not have a good game against Arizona State. So be interested to see if he can get going. But yeah, that is not, we'll have to keep monitoring that.
All right, we have more Wyatt. Yeah, that's what okay, good. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, because we're going to hear from Bryce Petty, and we're going to talk more, and we're going to give our Bear Essentials. We'll do that next on the Green and Gold Game Day.
And I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Drive in the fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out GatherCoRemodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At Game Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Gold game day back from McLean Stadium. Mosley, Faith Lynch, and we are getting closer to kickoff as the Wildcats and the Bears are going to get it on. And it is time for Bear Essentials. And we'll hear from Bryce Petty. Faith, we were just talking about it a minute ago, and this Bryson Washington news is somewhat distressing. He was on the list. I guess we shouldn't be shocked, but I think the thought was, hey, he's going to go. Yeah, he's been banged up. He's played through it. He had a big touchdown run in that last game against Oklahoma State, and Caden Knighton got a lot of carries. They've just got so most of that injury list was not surprising.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can put Carl Williams on it every week. You know he's going to be out. They need Bryson, and he is the best running back, I think, in the Big 12. And this is going to be an issue. That's a lot to I mean, as a complimentary back, both those backs are fine. Caden Knighton is fine. Put him in a feature role. I mean, I think he'll be okay. But that's tough. That's tough. And I think it puts, again, we're back to saying Sawyer's going to have to do a lot.
Yes.
He's going to have a lot on his plate in this game.
One person we haven't really talked about, which I think we've talked a lot about defense, but Jacob Redding has really been consistent for the Bears being at safety on the defense for them. The reason I said is his parents were over here walking around over the tailgate with Redding on the back of their shirt. So hard to miss it. But I think he's also going to be really helpful in this game of just trying to provide some consistency defensively.
All right, let's do this. Bryce Petty was on Pete Souza's show earlier this week, and Bryce he's doing a big speech coming up, I understand, later this month that Bryce will be part of for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. But Bryce is a good one to talk about Sawyer Robertson, what he faces, and the importance of Baylor needing to start fast.
In order to beat Baylor on Saturday, they are going to have to disrupt Sawyer Robertson, right? Like disrupt his timing, get him off his mark. At playing quarterback, how important is that early that you receive the protection that you need, right? Like in a big game like this, so you can find that rhythm.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you got to think, man. To get a snowman, you got to start small, right? And so those are all those little things that you start the game off with. Those little 5-yard passes, the bubble screens, things to just get you in a rhythm offensively. And a lot of that too is to just stay ahead of the chains. Man, it's really hard to be productive when it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14 all the time. And so, I think what Sawyer's done an incredible job of all year is just staying within himself and allowing, kind of the defense or the offense really to play to his strengths. But specific to your question, yeah, I mean, if K-State disrupts him, gets him off of, his mark there. And when I say mark, it's just that mark that's right there in that little cushion of the pocket. When you feel comfortable as a quarterback and you can finish throws, your feet get comfortable, that's when he can be really deadly. Now, he's great on the run. Like, I think his off-platform throws are really, really good too. So he's going to make some plays, but I think it's going to call to make him some plays outside of the pocket this week for sure.
What are some of the attributes that you were able to pick up from him on a personal level? Because we see him on the field, but what did you glean from that time with him that shows you that he has the makings of a guy who can play in the league like you did and continue to have success at Baylor?
Yeah, well, he's certainly going to be much better in the league than I was. But I think that the unique part about watching him, and this is what I love about, playing that position, I always like watching how people respond specifically to the quarterback position. And I've always felt like the moment that Sawyer took over, there was a different response from the guys, that were not only in the huddle with him, but on the sidelines with him as well. Man, when you have that belief in that quarterback that we're never out of a game, it just elevates the team. And so being able to see that, on TV or in the stands, but then actually be, kind of one-on-one with them is where, man, I get it. he has this sense of not only just belief in himself, but just who he is as a person is someone that I really admire. Even being an old guy, because it's so hard to be a quarterback, as you and I both know, but especially too in this day and age where he decided to come back. Could have very easily been a guy that gets in the portal and gets paid a lot of money. He wanted to come back. He loves Waco. He talked about how much he loved Waco and how much he loved his team, and so that certainly resonated with me a lot. So it's the character stuff that I really appreciate, because those are what's going to get you in and out of those games that are those really close games that you got to win to stay in it.
Sousa show. Bryce doing a little driving, just kind of going around the countryside, kind of like I may start doing that with more guests, just making sure they're in the car and I can kind of see where they're going. I like, what he said there at the end is so true. And Bryce had some games, the TCU game, 61-58, but he had plenty of others where just huge moments late in games. Sawyer seems to be very comfortable in those situations, very comfortable at the end of Arizona State, very comfortable when he had to be great against SMU. This team where they just have moments in the third quarter where you worry a little bit about Sawyer, and you saw it against Samford. You hadn't seen it a ton, is just that he'll make a loose throw here and there. And it's got to be on both sides. You got to have great routes. You got to get great separation. And if Bryson is hampered or can't go, and Bryson Washington, just to recap, is a game time decision, then, hey, somebody else is going to have to step up. Hey, Cowboys looked as good as they'd looked all season with CeeDee Lamb out. Yeah. And they had George Pickens, and they leaned on him. Okay, Faith, I've been wanting to get this from you, because let's give our we've got to say goodbye here in a minute, but I want to get your prediction for this game. You're always optimistic for the most part. I think you like picking the Bears. You like being optimistic. Bears favored by 6.5. I can see on your face this Bryson Washington news has given you pause. Yeah, we'll be kind of, we'll have a lump in our throat as we wait for kickoff to see if he's out there ready to go. Give me a score and on this game and what happens today.
Yeah, I think Bears don't lose this game at home. I just don't think it's possible. I don't think you do it. Do I think it's going to be a well-played game? Absolutely. Do I think we're going to see a lot of different options from both teams? Obviously, with Bryson being questionable right now, definitely puts some concern, I think, for Baylor fans. But I am going to go with the Bears. I'll do a nice, I think it's just going to be a high-scoring game. I do believe that. I'll do a 35-45 Bears. Nice.
Oh, you do the score backwards.
Yeah,
Did you do a 35-45?
Bears. that is my score. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game just because of this wide receiver room, this running back room is really deep for Baylor. Well, maybe running back not as deep as today, but I think for both sides have a lot of good options. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Okay, 45-35, or as she likes to say, 35-45. Bears, I absolutely think that this team has got to get where it scores 35 a game, and then almost like the old days with the Briles era, get a takeaway, get a stop, get an occasional stop, and I think that is going to be hopefully the recipe for success. But this is what you call a trampoline effect. They go into the bye. You desperately need a win here. Get to 4-2, and then you can, to use Scotty's favorite word, then you could dream. You could dream about a 10-win season, or even maybe think about 9 wins, whatever. But if you don't, it's going to be big problem. So I got the Bears winning this thing 34-27 today.
Okay.
Bears 34, K-State 27. And that is that is my take.
That is final about Mosley. Before we have to head out and get to that game, let's check our fan poll from hour 3. What do we feel about the gold jerseys? Can't stand them. I just, and we got some meh in there. I think that's my new favorite word, meh. But here's my thing. We talked about this with Coach Ryan McGuire, but I always made our director of ops give us a 3-day notice if we were going to have to wear gold, because I had to spray tan. So I needed a notice of if I needed to be tan or not to wear the gold because it made me look sick on the court, especially with some feral lighting. It does you no favors.
Feral lighting.
The feral lighting does you
Boy,
no favors.
pulling back the curtain. Elizabeth liked that one. You did not like the gold made you look like a ghost out there.
It made me look
Who
sick.
know? Yeah, I wish you'd have brought that up with Coach McGuire.
And he tried to skirt around the topic, which I don't blame him. It's a hot topic amongst Baylor volleyball, but
Yeah.
can't stand them. We are about 3 minutes out from kickoff, Matt.
Yeah.
How are you feeling with this Bryson Washington news?
You know, I as we get ready to say goodbye here, I am not feeling great about it. Not feeling great. Going to go up there, monitor that. Well, we appreciate C&B, Mission Golf Cars, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep Ram, Brazos Landing,
Hondo
hats. Love those hats. I mean, that lettering, usually I'm not a big lettering guy, but the way they do it and the way it kind of has that Western feel to it. Way to go, young Posey. Was it Cole Posey?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we've got a lot of Posies in our life. But great. This has been fun, though, Faith. I appreciate it, and hope the Bears can get one. I'm not going to do a sick'em with you, so you would have to do it by yourself. But
okay.
and KWTX, great to have them with us today. I thought that was fun. And then all our cast of characters over here, I thought everybody did a nice job. And it was good to be over here at Camp Info.
Yes.
Hard by MLK. Always come see us. We'll be back in about 3 weeks. And then next week's the bye.
Yes.
And then, of course, we'll have the big pregame show, perhaps in Fort Worth.
Yes, we're traveling.
Before TCU. So for Rogue Media Network, Faith Lynch, Scotty Swingler, and the whole gang here, we wish you a great afternoon, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?